say the neon lights are bright on Broadway, on Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air on Broadway. But when you walk
Hello, all you theater lovers, both out and proud and on the DL, and welcome back to Broadway Breakdown, a podcast discussing the history and legacy of American theater's most exclusive address, Broadway. Normally we would be doing The Big Move, but we are on hiatus as we cover the Tony Awards, the history, the legacy, what's the shit show that it's currently at now. I am your host, Matt Koplik, the least famous and most opinionated of all the Broadway podcast hosts, and with me today is an actor that you might know from Broadway. He's currently in Book of Mormon as Elder McKinley, or you might know him from social media as an ally. Please welcome to the pod, PJ Adzima.
Hey.
Hi, PJ.
Hi, how are you, Matt?
I am so great. For those of you who do not subscribe to the Patreon, you cannot see what PJ is wearing, but it is indeed a fitted Diana the Musical t-shirt.
Yes, it is. I wore it just for you.
Thank you.
Because I've seen from your writing that you are a fan, and I, too, am a huge fan of Diana the Musical. I absolutely love it.
So you've seen my writing on Instagram, then?
Yes.
So I guess you've been on Broadway, you've toured the country,
Mm-hmm.
you are a social justice warrior. I guess the question on everyone's mind is, when was the moment that the words Matt Koplik meant something to you?
This year, I'm a huge fan of your writing.
Oh, thank you.
It's been, people have sent it to me, and I've been sending it around. I'm here to blow smoke. Like, I find your reviews to be the most essential piece of theater criticism in New York City.
Guys.
Yeah, I said that. I said that right now. And I say this in full, I am a huge fan, and I think that what you're doing with your platform that is so different from a paper or an establishment is that, like, it is so personal. It is not for any company. It really is just your take on things, and that's what we are so interested in right now. And I love hearing what you have to say about a show, because usually I agree with you.
Oh, thank you. Well, the day where you vehemently disagree is the day that'll be very dramatic. No, I don't really desire to be a critic. I just feel like I'm still not sure what it is I want to be.
You're just a good one.
Thank
and that's
you.
fine. I think you just have good taste.
Thank you. I also just feel like we are in a stage right now in the theater community where we were talking about this off mic, but we can say it on mic because this is not a hot take.
No.
Everyone's very nice. Not everyone is very kind. And I also feel like the community is not doing a great job of holding everyone accountable to doing our best work.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that everything has to be Macbeth, but, if you want to, as I said in my review for Shucks, if you want to be a rowdy, bowdy bitch, stand up and be one, don't be weak socks. Like, everyone, like, this is, we all got into this world of show because we love it, because we wanted to make something that lasts, not necessarily for the followers, for the gram or any shit like that.
Yeah.
Fame and fortune is wonderful, but ultimately it's about making something.
Yeah, it's about the art form.
Yeah, children and art, bitch.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that conversation isn't really happening so much right now because everyone's just so afraid of, oh, what if I offend you? And I'm like, it shouldn't be offensive to say, I love you or I respect your craft. I wasn't a fan so much of what you did this time. I look forward to the next one.
Right.
And if you can say something constructive in a way that someone else can receive it, I feel like that is important, and that takes, not to toot my own horn, but that does take its own amount of intelligence.
100%, yeah.
The people who are like, only positivity only vibes here. I'm like, that's toxic, and no one grows from there.
I agree. It's just, it fosters mediocrity.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not going to talk about how we really feel, and instead we end up with bland art, and I don't think that that's helpful to anybody.
That just leads to a million divorces.
Yes, correct.
The number of relationships we've seen where it's just like, we don't talk about the things, and then eventually 5 years later it blows up, and there's carnage all over the floor.
No. Have the talk.
Yeah.
Have the talk. You must.
And to point to your T-shirt, as well as a musical that I talked about on my Instagram, Bad Cinderella, when shows like that happen that do not necessarily do well, and it's just agreed on in the mainstream that it is not good, the violent negativity towards it is such because everyone's got all these pent-up feelings about other things that they can't say outwardly. And then it's like, we've got the one show now where I have the outlet so we can make the jokes. I'm like, yes, like, Bad Cinderella's not good. But, like, do I feel the need to just, like, trash it every day? No. Mostly because I have the outlets to be like, I also was underwhelmed by New York, and such and such and such and such. And I can talk about it in a healthy way.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think that it's really important to, while you can have high standards and articulate your criticism, to never be mean-spirited.
No.
And that's like, even in Diana, why I love Diana so much and I wear its merch proudly is that everyone up there and on the team was giving 100%. And there were so many things that were incredible. It just, the souffle never rose. And that's what I love about this industry is that I go into every show hoping that it will blow my mind. I am a fan. I am so desperate for something to get off the ground and succeed. And even when it doesn't, then I think it's important for us to go, well, why?
Yeah.
And because we are social creatures, we are in a social industry, and we all are learning from each other all the time, whether we're clocking it or not. And so seeing where did this go wrong, how could this be better, and then having those conversations helps you every time.
Yeah.
Instead of going, well, I love everything. You're just going to stay bland and not get any better at what you do.
1,000. You are numbing your taste buds. So you can't tell. I said this in one of my reviews. So you can't tell the difference between like ice cream and cottage cheese. Like the fuck.
No.
That just shows you have no taste, girl.
Correct. Yes.
No. What was I gonna say? Fuck. No. I always go in hoping something's gonna be great. Diana, I love because it's just 2 hours start to finish of strong and wrong choices.
Yeah.
But it is the strongest of choices.
I know.
And I'm like, if you're gonna be on stage, make a fucking choice.
This is the thing: is the worst thing you can do is be boring.
Yeah.
Even if you're even as a person, right? It's like I would rather you be an asshole, like this big flamboyant personality who moves through the world and has an opinion, because at least I can like understand you and respect you for like doing your shit and owning it. It's when you're trying to not offend anybody and when you're putting me to sleep. That's the one thing you can't do is bore me. I am paid to be entertained. You must be entertaining, and Diana is entertaining.
Sure is.
And so I love it.
Yeah, if you're trying to be a inoffensive individual, you're no longer a person, you're wallpaper.
Correct. Yes,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of those.
Yes. And listen, wallpaper is thin, it can be pretty, and we love both of those things. But a wallpaper you can't have conversations with.
No.
But we're not talking about wallpaper, nor are we talking about our personal opinions on my Instagram, which we both agree is iconic.
Which is iconic?
Iconic.
Yes.
As someone who has gone viral many times across from me,
Hey.
We both know what it is to have iconic social media.
It's a new weird thing.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Well, I've only gone viral twice. And both times it happened, it was so fleeting that I never felt famous. I was just like, cool, people enjoy. So like I did two things. I did a video as every gal in the ensemble of Les Mis.
Amazing.
With each different recording of at the end of the day of that solo and in a bed. And so I did that, and that kind of made the rounds. And then I wrote a piece last year that was inspired by a Tony-nominated musical about is this a good song or is the actor just singing high?
Great article. I love this. Do you call them articles or do you call them posts? I just called it an article. So
I call it me jerking off onto social media. That's what I call it. I don't know. I don't call them anything.
Anyway, regardless, I love that, and I think that it really captures this moment very well, which is what any good piece of criticism should.
You, though, are doing things that are much more about the social climate. So is it more real? Yes.
Yeah.
But you also do it in a way that I like because you make it accessible. You are informative while not preaching, nor are you being dry. You are making sure it can be absorbed by various people.
Thank you. Yeah. I really think it's just about having a conversation and connecting with people. And for me, I just started doing this because I felt really powerless in this time, right? I don't always talk about, I rarely talk about Broadway. This is my first thing that I talk about. I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about, just what it's like to be an American.
Yeah.
And just trying to share my perspective, because when I do, it makes me feel less alone and crazy.
Yeah.
And I've been really happy that people have reached out and gone like, oh my gosh, I see you, and it's facilitated a conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't have the answers to anything. I just have my own opinions, and I really enjoy fostering a discussion with people, because I think if I feel that same way, people can feel seen and heard and want to just engage, and then you don't feel like you're just getting beat down by wave after wave of bad news that we just seem to have all the time in this country.
Well, yes, there's always a lot of bad news. I will also say there's also still good news. There is. It's just the news cycle really only gets viewers with negative stuff or like very controversial stuff. So there's a happiness account that I'll look at sometimes just because they're like, here's some 10 good things that happened in the world today that isn't being shared on CNN because that doesn't get viewers.
I agree. Yes.
And that's not, listen, that's just me recognize game. The thing is, PJ, we've gone on for how long, and I don't know, and we haven't even got to the root of why you're here today.
Well, I think we're here because I think I'm here because I really respect your opinions, and I hope you respect mine. And now we can talk about whatever we want, including the Tony Awards.
Well, that's the thing. Well, so first of all, yes, fully respect you. I asked you on here not because of your social media following, nor did I ask you because you've got pretty eyes and a pretty shirt talking about a pretty girl in a pretty dress. No, I've been watching you lately, and I'm like, oh, that's someone who I think will have a lot of fun talking to me about something stupid, but also important, like the Tony Awards. So a lot of this is also because there's a lot of flibberty-gibbet of like, the fuck is gonna happen?
What the fuck is gonna happen?
Yeah. Up until last week, it looked like there might not be a Tony Awards.
Yeah.
And then last night, it was kind of implied that there would be. But now this morning, it's sort of like, well, it still might not happen. It's just there's one less hurdle now.
I cannot keep up.
Yeah.
With what it's going to actually look like.
Yeah.
But it's just endlessly fascinating, and it facilitates a bigger conversation about where we are in this industry.
Yep.
And the role they play. One of my favorite pieces of criticism, it's like, I came out as saying, I really think the Tony should still happen no matter what, when it was canceled. That was my hot take, and a lot of people were very upset with me for not blindly being like, a strike is meant to be disruptive. And strikes are supposed to be disruptive, but I also think that we needs to facilitate a conversation about the impact of what it can do to our industry, which is the weakest arm of the entertainment industry.
1000%.
It is already hobbled. It is already needs all the help it can get, and then to take away what so many shows are counting on to make it to an extended life past the summer.
Yeah.
We need to be talking about this as people who are directly affected by it. And I don't know. I think it's important to have opinions about your industry. And even if it's just to facilitate conversation, and those opinions can change. Like, my opinions have really grown and shifted a lot on the Tony Awards, and I don't know how I feel, but I know that I can't just blindly be like, good, take them away. And while you're taking it away, just close all of Broadway.
I'll close it all. To quote Summer in Rick and Morty, it's, and I'm paraphrasing because I just watched the episode last night, it shows greater strength to be flexible than to be stubborn.
Damn, 100%. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, of course, she's talking about something very specific,
Sure.
Which is, if there's any MO for Rick and Morty, it's specificity on that show. But I stand by that. The more information you get, the more your opinions change and the world changes. I mean, there's a reason why so many progressive minds come from people who have lived in big cities where you just see all walks of life. Because the truth is, when you go on social media or you read in the paper about different kinds of people, it doesn't actually give you insight into who those people really are. So people have all these prejudices because they don't see it up front. They don't interact with people. And as you said, conversations are where the greatest changes happen. It seems insignificant at the time, but it's in increments, right? The more people you just talk to and converse with, and not fucking lecture to.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
You should never, you should do more listening than talking.
Yeah. We say this as somebody who is currently on Broadway in a show all about preaching. But mocking preaching.
Yes, correct.
But so let's set the scene in terms of this Tonys and what's been happening with it. There's a guild, a little-known guild known as the Writers Guild of America, and they are currently on strike. Yes. Why are they on strike, PJ?
They're on strike because the studios, basically it's about fair wages. So a lot of writers are living paycheck to paycheck in an industry that makes billions of dollars for people who are at the top of that industry. And so it's an unfair distribution of where that money goes, especially when it comes to the creators who are essential for churning out the content that then makes so much money. Without writers, there is nothing. And so that we are at a point now where it's important for these writers to be getting a piece of the thing that they create.
Yeah.
And the ripples of this strike touch the entire entertainment industry.
1000%, yeah. And this will connect later on as we talk about Broadway, but a lot of the issues that have arisen are because of changes in the industry since the last negotiation, specifically with streaming, but also even network TV has taken advantage of the older rules of the guild in terms of contracts and payment, and have used it to manipulate to pay writers less. And running costs are still getting higher with television production, but the money's not going to writers, it's going to other places. And they're not the studios. It's the Alliance of Movies and TV Producers.
Yes.
I believe that is the organization that it's AMTPA.
Yes.
They are making millions. The companies themselves are making billions. And what they're doing is not technically illegal, but they will do things like they will shortchange a writer's contract and get as much content out of them in as short a period of time. And they will pay them technically fairly for the amount of time they put in. They've just now truncated the amount of time they work. And they have found other loopholes of like, well, you're not a producer, so you don't get to be on set, whereas a lot of writers get to be producers on TV shows, or used to be anyway. Royalties and residuals are a changing game now because there's so few reruns on TV. If everything is streaming, that means you can watch Friends on HBO Max as much as you want, and there hasn't been a negotiation about how that works,
right?
Because the last time there was a negotiation, streaming was brand new,
and
it was like basically Hulu and Netflix, and Netflix wasn't really doing. They weren't doing original content yet, and I think they were mostly doing movies at the time. So just that negotiation hadn't happened.
It's the Wild West now.
Yeah,
we are in real time, and then on top of it, it's AI.
Yeah, and AI.
We're looking into the future, into the abyss, and going, oh, we're unprotected.
Yeah,
and if they keep up the creative business practices that have screwed writers out of money, they will not stop.
No.
And so this is really to put in the buffer and protections needed for writers to make sure that they can have just a livable wage in an already very difficult industry to break into and thrive in.
And to be fair to the asshole producers, we as a viewing audience have made the case for them that they don't need writers because we watch so much fucking garbage.
Yeah, it's true.
The reality TV that people consume, the bad scripted content that people consume just so they can make a YouTube video deconstructing the badly scripted content. Like the number of YouTubers who have blown up from just destroying the Pretty Little Liars reboot or the Gossip Girl reboot. And I'm like, well, you're still giving them viewership. And even though eventually they will cancel it, you're drawing attention to the content they're making. Even fucking, Emily in Paris, which is taken over the world by people just hating it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how about you just show them that you want quality crap by not watching the bad shit or not watching Love is Blind or The Circle all the fucking time.
It's so hard though, but it's junk food.
It
It's built
is.
like junk food, and people consume things for comfort and sometimes and in an overstimulated, overworked, crazy economy where you're maybe working 3 jobs and you come home and you're exhausted. It's like maybe I can't handle Succession. Maybe I need Love is Blind to just be dumb comfort food at the end of the day. Like there's a need for all of it.
I support it. I have my own dumb comfort food.
100%.
But you cannot live on Cheetos alone.
I agree.
And I just feel like there's so little. People are allowing themselves stimulation on a visual sense, on just audio sense, but not actually mentally, intellectually.
I completely agree.
And I can only stand by people watching like The Real Housewives of blank if they are also stimulating their brains in other ways.
I completely agree.
Outside of going on social media and being like, problematic. And also I want to say this about you, something I really like what you do. I already talked about like how you will share information and try to make it in a relatable, consumable way. I like that because so many people will just like repost an article and say, this is bad. I'm like, okay, but can we talk about it?
Yeah.
Like let's get
What's your opinion on the reading?
And like, yes, and like also get the information out there and don't just like propagate immediate things that you read. Like read 3 other articles, make sure you have the right take, because there have been some breaking news items that ended up not being true in the last like year, and people would just like share the first immediate thing. And point is
the Tony Awards.
well, so this all comes back to the Tony
Right.
Awards. So the Writers Guild has been on strike, and there are a lot of other contracts that are up for negotiation soon, which will come back to the Tony Awards. But all the guilds have shown solidarity with the writers because the only way for these accommodations to happen is if there is no budging whatsoever from any of the guilds and does have disruption. Now, there are certain things that will take a little longer for studios to feel the repercussions of because a lot of content has already been greenlit and is getting produced. So like there is a backlog of stuff that is getting done.
Right.
But that also means they have to change their platforms of how they spread out their content over the next like 2 years because of less stuff. So it's not feeling the heat right now, but they are going to feel it in a year.
And the only way that this strike works is if it lasts a long time.
Exactly. And the more guilds go on strike with them, like the DGA is about to have their contracts come to a close, and they might go on strike in a few weeks, which we'll talk about with the Tonys as well. This is to say, the Tony Awards, which is technically speaking not a, it's not a show with like a three-act structure. It's not Succession,
No.
It's not all these characters saying dialogue, but there are writers involved.
Yes, like any award show.
Exactly. There are bits that have to be done. For example, Miss DeBose did not sing Angela Bassett did the thing impromptu. That was scripted.
Yes, it
by
was.
someone,
And rehearsed.
And rehearsed by
Yes.
everyone, yes. Her opening number last year for the Tonys, scripted by writers in the Guild.
Yep.
and directed by someone who's in the DGA.
Yeah.
And so the Tony Awards, the Tony Award Committee and the Broadway League requested a waiver from the WGA saying, let us please do the ceremony on the 11th as is. We really, really need this.
It's essential to our industry.
Yes. And the WGA said no. And a lot of people on Broadway got very upset at first. And they said, this is going to be detrimental to the business, to a lot of shows this season. They really count it, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's me. I was one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is true.
Yes.
But also, as we were saying, we do need to show loyalty. If we're going to make change, we have to have the disruption.
Correct.
It's unfortunate that Broadway can be a casualty, but it does shine a brighter light on a lot of the business practices that Broadway has been doing for a while, but especially post-COVID. That is not working.
No, it's almost as if it's time to innovate.
What?
Whoa!
What's the word? Innovate?
We don't do that, not in this town.
No.
It brings me back to, we are Broadway's so hard, but there's zero margin for error, right? Like the only way you're making money is if your show is a hit and sold out. If it's a damn good show that's running at half capacity, you will close.
Yeah.
And it's really hard right now in an age where, again, when we have more streaming than ever, when we've got more entertainment than ever, when we walk around with a supercomputer in our pocket, how do you keep this archaic art form alive and pure, but also get it in front of as many eyeballs as possible? And the Tony Awards are essential because it gets the shows in front of middle America, in front of the people who don't live on the coasts, who are going to plan their vacation and come into the city and go, oh, I want to see that. It looked really good on the Tony Awards. Even if they don't watch the whole ceremony, they can watch the YouTube video that gets passed around, that it can then play on Good Morning America. Like, these are the very few opportunities we have to get a production number in front of a camera so people can get excited about the show.
Absolutely.
And the fact that so many people have been commenting on my things saying the fact that the whole industry hinges around one night means that this industry is in trouble. And I said, yes,
Yeah.
you're right, exactly. And post-COVID, we need to now innovate. We need to find a way to not be so beholden to this one show that people barely watch anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's reflective of how many people go to Broadway. Like, Broadway, even when it does well, is not the same as a movie doing well.
Gosh, no.
And like the Oscars, go up and down as well,
Yeah.
but more people go to the movies than go to Broadway. It's more accessible. It's
100%.
It's cheaper. And there's more of them around there. Same thing with television, the Grammys. So like, even though, yes, let's say people are like, oh, 4 million people, how much can that do? I'm like, even if like a tenth of those people buy tickets that next week, that you've just sold out like a year run of a show.
100%.
Yeah.
And you've given how many people jobs?
Yeah.
Like, I know the numbers are small, but it's because this is such a small ecosystem. It's so tiny. And then the ripples of it, it's so unstable. Like, it really is, it's this perfect little ecosystem, and everything has to go right in order for you to have a hit. And just the devastation of not having a Tony Awards would just wipe out so many shows that could then go on to have long lives and change lives.
Yeah.
And give people the security for the first time in their lives to, leave their waiting jobs and and stop babysitting and save and break into an industry and stay there, as opposed to getting into the industry and being shut out of it again and not knowing when the next time you're going to have that production contract come through.
this cyclical nature of Broadway is a double-edged sword. And it's one that I think people aren't as aware of as they should be. Because on the one hand, we don't wish anyone out of work.
Never.
Maybe Kevin Spacey. But other than that,
I don't think you have to wish anymore. I think it worked.
We did it, Joe.
We did it.
So, but you know what I mean? Like, we don't wish anyone out of work.
No. I want every show to be a hit.
Yes. But then we have these conversations of, well, we need more representation. We need more stories of different ecosystems in this world. To which I say, great. The only way that can happen on Broadway is a show's got to close for another show to come in.
Yep.
That's just the fucking circle of life.
Yeah.
So every time a show closes, while I mourn the people who are losing their jobs in that moment, I then get excited for the people who will be getting new jobs in a new story coming on in.
Great.
And the problem is, as you said, like for a show to be successful on Broadway now, just the way that shows are capitalized, the way the running costs work, it's got to run at, well, actually, no, sorry. It doesn't have to. There is a...
But they'd like it to.
Well, there's a myth here. And I've talked about this before, and I'm going to throw it under the bus right now just because it's such an easy target.
Great.
It does not cost $3 million a week to run Hamilton. It just does not. I think at this point it probably costs maybe $1 million or maybe a little less. There are some shows that obviously cost way more than others, and people will be very surprised at how running costs do work on Broadway. But when Hamilton was at its prime, grossing like $3.3 million a week, and when they went from the main ticket being $850 for an orchestra seat, and Lin-Manuel Miranda took to social media and he said, guys, we added a whole second row of $10 ham for hams, and this is why we did it, to offset the cost of that. And I love Lin, and he's such a wonderful champion of Broadway, and he's definitely our most famous person out there, and he's a good person. But that was bullshit.
Great.
It was a bullshit excuse.
Right.
Because they would be grossing $3.3 million a week, and it does not cost that much to run Hamilton.
No.
At that point, when they were grossing that much, it probably cost about 1.1. So that's $2 million that's just going to Lin, to the entire creative team. And listen.
Yeah.
And
make your money. That's a hit Broadway show.
Exactly.
That's what you want.
Call them Angela Bassett because they did the thing.
Yeah.
And so, I am not saying you do not deserve that money, honey.
No, you do deserve that money.
But if we're talking about how Broadway can be so inaccessible because of its pricing, the fuck are we doing here? Do you need that $2 million profit? I mean, obviously, if you can get it, that's how capitalism works, right? If you can charge it and people are willing to pay, you do the fucking thing.
Right.
Same thing with Music Man. But there are other shows this season that are struggling.
Yep.
And they would rather have 200 empty seats in the theater than sell them at $40.
There we go. Now I think that is a brilliant thing that you just said, because we've painted ourselves in a corner by making these tickets so prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
Right. Because we've also then in capitalism, it's like, if you're not making more money this year than you did last year, then you've failed.
Yeah.
And that's you're doomed, because it's just going to balloon and balloon and balloon and balloon and balloon. And you're going to feel like you're poor when you're still richer than anyone could have imagined you could be 20 years ago in this industry.
It's why I hate the fucking break-in headline news on Playbill and Broadway World, where it's such and such broke the house record for this year. I'm like, you didn't sell more tickets than a show from 40 years ago.
Right.
You're just charging 30,000 times more for the ticket.
I completely agree. What if? And I think it would just take a brave soul to be like, fuck it, $40, the whole thing. But guess what? We're sold out, and now everyone's talking about it. And that, again, if you're gonna close anyway, try everything.
Well, so okay, if you look at the grosses that just came out this week, we're recording this on a Tuesday, everybody, for the Thursday launch.
Yeah.
You look at the grosses. There are some shows that have higher capacity but way less money, and obviously some. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say.
Let's do it. Say it.
You look at the grosses this week for Kimberly Akimbo and Some Like It Hot.
Right.
Some Like It Hot had a major jump of $100K, which is great.
Great.
Kimberly Akimbo, I think, was something around $70K, something like that. Kimberly Akimbo had a higher capacity this week than Some Like It Hot, and in fact has had a higher capacity for its entire run than Some Like It Hot pretty much ever has. Some Like It Hot is in a theater with about 800 more seats, so its grosses are always just naturally higher, but they have been filled to like 60 to 70% capacity for months now. Whereas Kimberly Akimbo has been like consistently 85 to 95%. Because the producers of Kimberly Akimbo are just like, we got to get to the Tonys, and it's like anything it takes to get butts in the seats. If that means papering, if that means going on TDF, and people like the show, are talking about the show. I am biased. I like and see the show as much as I can.
Yeah, it's great.
But so I think that is far more effective producing than just sort of sitting there with your arms crossed and be like, well, we're only going to do TDF for the balcony of the Schubert because God forbid we, you know, let people who are poor come see our show.
Jeez, yeah.
I'm like, just get the fucking butts in the seats.
Get butts in seats because then it's word of mouth, right? Especially right now with Tony's coming and you want the New York community, right? Like it's like New York has to love you in order to be a hit first. It's like you need to have the local be like, oh my gosh, you have to get in to see.
That is what gets the tourists in.
100%.
If tourists come in and all of New York is like, this is what everyone's going to see.
Because they're asking their friends who live here. They're asking their, you know, it's like, I'm in town. And it's like, so-and-so. It's like, what should I see? I get asked all the time. What should I see? What should I see? What should I see? And right now, like, I'm gonna be able to pitch you the shows better than a poster can.
Yeah.
And so you must be a New York darling. And you can do that by doing exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
By getting New Yorkers to come see your show.
That's the thing that Shucked has done, and it's very I've said this before, it's very deja vu from from Something Rotten of starting previews with very low prices, just getting sold out houses and getting New York to talk about you.
Yes.
And that is, and it
works.
It's working for them now. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how long it lasts because again, it's Broadway. How long does anything last?
Right.
But it's working right now.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. We love to see it.
I know. Absolutely.
And on that note of positivity, let's take a break.
Hey.
I beg to differ with you. How do you mean? You're the top. Yeah. You're an arrow collar. You're the top. You're a Coolidge dollar. You're the nimble thread of the feet.
And we're back. So the new development after the WGA said no waivers, which they said it just like that. They said no waivers in this ceremony.
No waivers.
Yeah, it's the way Carol Channing says raspberries.
My favorite. I heard for the first time about the raspberry story, about like why she says it.
Yeah, I read that too. Explain.
Do we agree or disagree?
Do we buy it?
Do we buy it? I love the idea. Apparently, so she says raspberries, and
Yeah.
it's very weird and out of nowhere. And apparently, it's because in the script it says that the White Queen blows a raspberry.
It's Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Isn't that? Oh, excuse me.
It's Muzzy and Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Sorry, I've got it confused with Jam tomorrow, Jam yesterday, but never.
And
did.
yet you call yourself an ally.
I gotta say, I'm proving myself to be a bad one in this moment. Forgive me, Carol Channing stands. But the fact that
You're not looking at one, so just so you know. Continue.
But the fact is that it was written that she blows a raspberry, and she didn't know what that meant, so she just said it.
Yeah,
which is delightful to me.
Well, so my assumption is if it is true, it was like at the table reading. You know, she got the script and she was like raspberry.
And they said, keep it.
Keep it, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, listen, there are crazier stories about Carol
100%,
Channing.
yeah. I buy it completely.
Yeah, some that she has said herself. Have you ever read the book Nothing Like a Dame?
No, should I?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a glowing endorsement of, yeah.
Yeah, you should. Is good.
Okay, great.
But Carol's is, she's dead now, so it's kind of sad. But at the time, it was
okay,
sort of.
Die.
You're entitled to die.
Entitled to die. She
Especially-
worked hard. She
Yeah,
lived a life.
she got to a very old age.
Yeah.
But she was, I guess she had found out like a few years prior that she was like 1/50th African American or something like that.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the interviewer was talking to her about it, and she's like, "Well, I guess that accounts for my musical talent."
Oh, Carol.
Yeah, and then
Carol.
he was like, "Well, what do you feel about drag queens impersonating you?" She's like, "I don't get it. You're impersonating Dolly Levi. That's not me." And I go, "Girl, you are you in everything you do. You are you.
You are just you.
Everything."
100%. And that's what makes an iconic star like that. Is she just floating? She's floating through life, and we're like, do this now.
Yeah.
Now do this.
She's
You're our toy.
she's Miss Vanjie.
Yes, correct.
She's the Miss Vanjie of Broadway actresses. Or like
100%.
Yeah, like I can't tell you what you're doing is craft, but it's compelling.
No, it's compelling. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I completely agree.
But so yes, to quote Carol Channing, yes, the raspberries.
the raspberry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes,
we're back.
they said no waivers, and
there we are. We're back.
and so then there was the whole like, well, will the Tonys happen?
Right.
And then yesterday they said, well, we've now got a new clearance, which is just that they have the league and the Tony committee has agreed to make some concessions, and we don't know what those concessions are yet, but they were enough for the WGA to say we will not picket the Tony
Which
Awards.
is huge.
Yes, it means that anyone who's attending is no longer crossing picket lines.
Right.
Which is no one no one's going to be like a scab, which is great.
Which is great.
But people have mistaken that headline for we have a Tony Awards now. That is not what is being said.
Tell me, what do we have?
Well, it's just one less hurdle.
Okay.
Because so we have no writers for this telecast, which means there can't be any banter. There can't even really be copy for Tony categories being presented. Producers can sort of write basic filler on the day, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
We had a similar situation in 1988.
Okay.
There was a writer's strike at the time, and that was the year of Into the Woods and Phantom. And from what I understand, what they did in that ceremony was producers kind of wrote very, very basic copy.
Okay.
On the day.
Great.
And there was no rehearsal. There was just
fine.
It was on the teleprompter, and people just had to read it like in the moment.
Wow.
And so that the concessions might be different now, but that is what it was at the time. Was anything that's being written and said, there's no rehearsal for it. You just say it live on telecast. Which
Fun. Here we go.
Here we go, Geraldine.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So maybe it'll be a similar thing, or it could be that there's no copy whatsoever.
Maybe.
Because I believe one of the concessions is no one can have a role on this telecast that would be fulfilled by a Writers Guild member.
Got it. Right.
But on top of that, if the Directors Guild is going to be in alliance with the Writers Guild and their contracts are coming up very close to the telecast, maybe even like right before,
really,
there could be directors on strike, and therefore there might be no one to direct the ceremony.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a total shit show.
Yeah. Well, this is just a what if.
Sure.
So anything, we don't know what the concessions are. We don't know what they're planning, but also knowing the Broadway League, no one's coming up with smart ideas right now.
No.
This is Charlotte St. Martin.
No.
Swings go on and audiences are disappointed.
No, God, I can't believe that's a real thing.
I know.
That actually happened.
People are disappointed by the understudies, and I'm like, ma'am, Sutton Foster, Audra McDonald, Kelly O'Hara, Victoria Clark, all understudies in their youth.
Yes.
Who's ever been upset by seeing them on stage?
Nobody ever.
Not in the history of man.
It's tough. It's really hard. It's really hard when this innovation that we need is gonna come from the experienced youth in the industry, and the experienced youth in the industry is almost never in charge.
No.
And so you're absolutely right. Like this time when innovation is so needed, I don't necessarily think have the leadership that's capable of stepping up and doing that.
Yeah. And this actually mirrors one of the things about the writers' strike that's happening. We have youth that's passionate and intelligent and cares and wants to come up with all these ideas, but they don't have the experience of leadership yet to make those creative decisions right now. No. Which is that
or they're not in the seat of power to be able to do so. They've got a lot of big ideas, but they're not in the driver's seat.
Yes, but our current generation of leadership is not making room for those younger generations to come in and start learning and absorbing so they can make those decisions.
Right.
Which is one of the things in the Writers Guild that they're striking about is a lot of writers are not getting the experience of a writer's room of producing on set of all these things you're supposed to do while working on a television show or on a movie.
So you can learn.
And so they're making a very quick buck that only lasts them so long, but they're not actually gaining the experience they need to gain for a prolific career.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. And we're not grooming. You're not actively mentoring people and going, look how it's done. Remember, this is how you succeed.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I've talked about this with Gen Z and shit, is, I love the passion of our younger generation politically and socially. I think that's amazing. They do lack a little bit of real world experience to know how to put into effect their passion. And this is the change I want to see in the world. Great. How do you realistically make that happen?
Right.
Because once you get put into a position of power and you see how limited so many avenues are, it's harder to make that change happen. But you need that experience to know that.
Right. And it takes that partnership across generation, right? And I think that's exactly what we're missing is people who are going, we know how to do it. And we're in charge here, and don't worry, we've got this. As opposed to, from a position of authority, reaching out and taking ideas, having conversations, facilitating, getting the inspiration from the youth, and then applying your know-how from years of experience and finding the best possible answer. Because at the end of the day, it's a team sport. Yeah, this is one ecosystem. I keep using that word, but it's in such an individual-based, I can do this ego town, we can't do it alone.
In an ecosystem?
In an ecosystem? Hey.
Sorry, I had to.
I love it.
I love it too.
It's great.
I'm pleased.
An ecosystem. It's adorable. I
Bada
think.
bing, bada boom. She's
but-
a writer.
But we do live and die by each other.
Yeah.
I need you to succeed, and so that I may succeed, and I hope that my success brings success for you as well. And I don't think that that has been what our industry has thrived on in the past, but clearly with Broadway, everyone's saying Broadway's dead, Broadway's dying. It's always the thing.
yeah.
It's been dying for 100 years.
Yeah.
Huh? But we must then invest in this thing together so that we may all thrive.
Yeah. I don't think Broadway's dying. I will be perfectly honest, and I will say I think Broadway has become a little less special. There was a brief, and another reason why the Tonys are slightly getting extinct, and also why the whole system needs to change, is also just like the work that we've been putting out there, which is all perfectly fine. Very little of it is truly exciting on a national level.
Yeah.
There was a brief moment in a couple of years ago. It was the double whammy of Hamilton followed by Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
Where two musicals on Broadway were in the national conversation.
Yeah.
With songs that were making it onto the radio, and we were going, oh, theater is now back at the...
We can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're in the pop culture zeitgeist again. Fantastic. And then we kind of let it slip through our fingers.
Well, I think COVID came and killed us.
Before COVID, though, because after the Evan Hansen year was the SpongeBob Band's Visit Mean Girls year, which,
Sure.
we had Mean Girls and Frozen doing financially well. We had Band's Visit, which was a critical hit and was able to run a year and a half and make some money. None of those shows, though, were of the Evan Hansen, Hamilton. Here we go. We have a
No,
focus.
I completely agree. But also, I don't think it's realistic to be like every year you're gonna have the one, because even in
the golden age, there was
every year, no nonstop. You're right.
Yeah, there was something, and not even just like the conversation we're having from this show, but more just sort of like everyone's excited about this show, even if it's something like the fucking Music Man.
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
was excited about the Music Man.
Yep.
And it just we'll get back to Tony's in a quick second, but
It's all part of it. It's one thing.
it's one giant Aurora Spider-Woman web. But like there is so much good that has come out, but not in a way where it's, and I'm going to blow smoke up PJ's ass again, in the way that you do, like vital information, compelling, political stuff in a way that is accessible. There's so much right now where I'm like, this is really interesting and very smart. It is so not accessible because the people involved are so smart. They're not thinking about an audience.
Right.
And then the people who are thinking about the audience are like, I want to put absolutely no thoughts into the audience's head. And then we get confused when audiences treat shows like it's a Vegas striptease. I'm like, well, if you want audiences to be engaged with you and treat you with respect, give them a show worth respecting.
Right. I think you're touching on something that I'm very passionate about, which is just like who is it for?
Yeah.
It needs to be for the people in the audience.
Yeah.
You need to have a show for them. And you can write a show for you, and that's great, but you have to know that it's going to be inaccessible. You need to do both. You need to do the magic trick of writing the thing for you and then reaching out and planting it into the audience's brain, and you can do both. And when you do both, you have the greatest hits of our industry.
Yeah, and we've had some of them.
Yes.
I don't want to be like, it was only good back in the day. First of all, neither of us were alive back in the day. But we've had some. I wish we had it a little more frequently. And
I agree.
And listen, there is no one answer, right?
No, absolutely not.
Part of it is there aren't as many avenues to hone creativity. People aren't given as because of the ecosystem of our ecosystem.
Yes, love it.
Writers don't have as many opportunities to try and fail.
Yeah.
It's sort of like like the number of times Sondheim failed before he succeeded.
Oh, I think about this all the time. The stakes are so high now that one, we're not taking creative risks, because what if it fails? It's cost us millions and millions and millions of dollars, as opposed to a modest investment.
Yeah.
And two, we don't have an off-Broadway community. We don't have a place where I can go take a weird thing, put it in front of people, hone my skills, and then I'm ready for Broadway. We've got all these people who are making their songwriting debut or Broadway songwriting debut on Broadway for the first time, as opposed to having a place in the city that actually you can make a living telling stories on a smaller scale, so you can get good at it.
Yeah.
And then do it for the big bucks.
Yeah. The only thing we've had recently, and I'm so fucking thrilled that it exists. We have Titanic.
Yeah.
Which,
Let's start with that.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, that is the first new work off Broadway that has like actually been a hit.
Yeah, it's caught fire.
That has caught fire and has like maintained its off Broadway hit status, which I love.
Yeah.
Now, granted, and this is, I don't mean this as a slight to any of the creators on that show, because I have a review of it and I say how baller that show is.
Yeah.
They do use a previously known work that everyone knows.
Yeah, it's a part of the parody musical genre.
Yes.
It is the best of its kind.
And the thing they happen to be parodying is one of the most successful and iconic and recognizable movies of all time.
Correct.
And so you have that sort of synergy of, the movie and Celine and all that stuff. But if the show weren't good, it would not have taken fire like it has.
No, of course not.
They would have gotten butts in the seats for like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and people would have been like, "Oh, cool idea," and it's fine enough.
Sure.
But no, it is so inventive. It is so smart about how stupid it is that it has been able to maintain.
Yeah.
And I wish, of all the shows this season, I feel like everyone should just look at Titanic rather than anything on Broadway this season, of just like knowing what you are, doing it to the best of your abilities, finding the right space, the right cast, embracing the weirdness, and not getting too big for your britches.
Yeah.
And finding success in that mold. I'm not going like, well, we could always make more money. It's like, no, we are perfect right where we are, and we can maybe even like last longer staying here and not going bigger.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think they know their audience.
Yeah.
They know it's a love letter to the people who are walking in the door.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, you guys are going to love this. And they do, and then they tell their friends. And I think that I love everything you just said about learning from them, because again, it's teaching us and showing us in real time what works and what we want, what people are going to get jazzed and excited about. And I love that grassroots feeling, that again, New York loves Titanic.
Yeah.
More than any other show in town, I think, right
Absolutely. No, that is the show that New York has very much embraced over anything.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about this on an episode recently of sort of, I had a guest he lives in Canada, and he was asking like, what are the shows this season that New York has embraced? And I didn't even say Titanic because we were talking about the Tonys.
Right.
So I was trying to be like I was like, Kimberly Akimbo, kind of, Some Like It Hot, kind of. Yeah. I feel like the only Broadway show this season that all of New York has been like, we love you, is Parade. And before that was probably Into the Woods, but that's closed and done.
Yeah, correct.
Of what's currently running, I feel like Parade is the only show this season where everyone's like, Yas, Queen, we love you, work.
I've heard no bad things.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
No, like you can skip it. Everyone's like, go,
go.
but
Sure.
think about this.
Yeah. Well, so I wrote in my review about it. I was like, there's one thing that I would call like an artistic blemish, and I had people DM me asking what I meant. And have you seen it?
No, not yet.
Are you gonna?
I would love to. Yes.
I know you. Have
We're
your
busy.
show. Well,
that's
you
another
don't.
thing that I hate.
You don't do it.
Can I talk about what I hate? You can go first.
In
Go,
a
go,
minute.
go.
First of all, you don't have Wednesday matinees. You can go see a matinee.
I know exactly, but that's the thing is that that's my one chance to see in a month's time. I won't be able to hit every show before the Tony Awards.
Well, then I can tell you what's worth it.
Okay, there you go. That's why I rely on your reviews, which I love so much.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
But so there's one thing that Michael Arden does that I'm like, Michael, that's not a good choice.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you do it twice. But the rest of the time, it's lovely. And then I also have just
Swing and a
issues.
miss. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Make a strong and wrong choice,
make
baby.
a choice.
Make a choice.
I don't care.
And then,
Just be good.
There's also, I have issues with Parade as a musical. If you want to know those issues, you can listen to my Parade episode. But Parade is a good show. It's got the bumps, as many shows do.
Sure.
Yeah. I think I can name on one hand the number of musicals that are just like impenetrably perfect.
100%. Yeah, I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to be entertaining.
I love you. You're not perfect. So
Yeah.
never change.
So never change.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about you and your show schedule in just a second. I don't even know how we got to all this. Titanic being weird. But I feel like there's always the idea of you need to have two opposing thoughts in both pockets. I think about Sherry Renee Scott in Everyday Rapture, I'm a speck of dust and the universe was created for me. And honestly, that's always how I write my reviews is I have something to say and I'm fucking nobody.
Yeah. As a creative, I completely feel the same way where I'm like, this is me and I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to listen to what I have to say and take it seriously, that's on you because I'm not taking it seriously.
No,
Yeah.
I believe in what I say, but also I don't believe in me. Well, shit.
I've got convictions and I have lived a life and here are my opinions, but I am not God and other people are smarter than me.
Yeah, it's what I say about actors and writers. Take the work seriously, not yourself.
Love that.
And
Love that.
Yeah, it's
great.
So, yeah, it's like the shows you're working on, give it your all, but never say like, it's me. I'm the moment. It's me.
Well, and also nobody's curing cancer here. We sing and dance for a living. Hi. Anybody who and listen, take yourself seriously, believe in the craft, but at the end of the day too, like zoom out a bit and see that we are a luxury industry that's providing a luxury service, and we are lucky to do what we do.
Well, again, it's the two pockets, baby.
Yeah.
Because you do have that. We're not curing cancer, but we are creating something that can last and something that can offer a reprieve or a stimulant to someone who might be in a bad moment, like the garbage TV shows you were so graciously letting stupid America love and enjoy, and I'm like, no, death to them all.
Death to them all. Hey, listen, I agree. I don't watch them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I watch Great British Bake Off.
That's great.
That is my Cantunes. But so,
but I would say before we move on from that too. But it's like you can't when you're holier than thou. I actually think you have a harder time making the thing that's for everybody anyway.
Well, so there are creatives who are holier than thou.
100%. I say to that, like, why?
Yeah,
I think you're hurting yourself.
Absolutely. If you think that you're smarter, even if you are smarter, if you walk around going, I am smarter than the audience, I'm smarter than the people around me, I'm smarter than my contemporaries. It's like, first of all, you've got nothing to strive or prove. You're coming from a high horse.
Yep.
You're not reaching for anything. You're lowering yourself down for something, and no one ever wants to feel condescended to.
Mm-hmm. And you're also not collaborating then, because you're not going to let. And this is a team sport. You need to be reaching out and going, you're great at this. Help me.
Do you listen to the Office Ladies podcast?
No.
Did you ever watch The Office?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So Office Ladies, it's Jenna Fisher and Angela McKinsey.
Oh, great.
Angela Kinsey, who are Pam and Angela from the show. And they're doing a deep dive rewatch, and they bring people on. What they talk about, what made that show so special, was the show creator, and he made sure that this lasted even when he was no longer really working on it, was the best idea wins. Doesn't matter who or where or when it comes. So like there are all these classic moments from The Office that are a combination of someone wrote a scene, and then on the day, an actor had an improvisation, and then like a prop went wrong, so the prop master did something else that made the joke better.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. And that is why you want, for me anyway, that's why I want to be in this business.
Yeah.
That I want to have your idea make me better, and then my idea is going to make you better, and we'll ping pong back and forth, and we'll have this thing that neither of us could do without each other. And we'll look around and go, how did this happen? And go, well, it was a perfect storm.
Yep.
And that's like time and time again, that's how these things come together. And I am a social being, and we are social people. We want to be in a room together and make art, and then we want to be in a room together and experience art.
Yeah.
I want to hear that lady with a weird laugh next to me, and then be like, oh my gosh, she's having the greatest time. I'm having the greatest time too. And this is a great night out. I'm in New York City.
Well, and that is what you're paying for with your theater ticket, other than, making sure people have salaries and producers make their nut. But you are ultimately paying for an experience that won't be replicated.
Yes.
Even though the show gets performed again tomorrow, it's a different audience. The actors on stage are having a different day than they were the day before.
Or it's a different cast because someone swung in, swung out.
Absolutely. But even if it is the same cast, everyone's having a different day. People are in different vocal health, mental health.
Yep.
So like sometimes you'll get, like I saw a musical recently where someone optioned down on everything, and it was fine. But then the next day they optioned up on everything, and I was like, oh, I saw a very different show, even though it was the same actor.
Yeah.
So you are literally paying for an experience that will never happen again.
Right.
And people are not understanding that. They pay the amount that they pay and think they're entitled to the world, and they go on their phones or they eat or they talk, and I go, you realize you are actually robbing yourself. You pay $200, and then each time you go on your phone or you talk to someone, you have robbed yourself of $2.
I more than that, I think. I don't know.
Because by the time it's over.
Yeah, by the time it's over,
you've lost all your money.
I completely agree. And I think, well, one, that's just an attention span thing in our culture right now, which is absolutely terrible. But two, it's like I'll see people asleep in the show. I'll be like, that's an expensive nap.
That is an expensive nap.
And again, and if that's what you want to do with your day and your money, God bless you. Come here, you sit down and you pay full price and you close your eyes for a while. We'll be up here entertaining the people in the back who really want to be here.
Which brings us back to the Tony Awards.
Right.
So, as we said, no picket line. So no one's crossing the picket line. We still don't know what's going to happen. But what I would like to see happen, and I've bemoaned this for a while now, the Tonys keep trying every year to compete with the MTV Movie Awards, with the Oscars, creating these things of like, see how cool Broadway is? Come watch the Tonys. And I'm like, you're never going to get all of America to watch.
No, God, no.
Make the Tonys for the nerds.
Yo, I feel the same way. I get on this high horse all the time. Like, what if we had a whole night that was just for us? Like, that was full of in-jokes, full of references, full of something that where someone in Middle America is like, I have no idea what's going on, but we love it.
Yeah.
We fucking love it, and we can't. It's must-see TV for us. Because again, it's like if we don't love our own industry so passionately, that's what's going to make people go, oh, I want to go where they are. They all seem like they really are having a great time.
Passion launches other passion.
Yes, correct.
And if you try to appeal to everyone, you're no longer a telecast, you're a wallpaper.
Hey.
But the idea for me is also,
agree.
and also just we're not honoring all the elements of theater anymore because we're trying to keep the Tony Awards within a certain time frame, and we want to get viewership. So it's like, oh, we're gonna have Jennifer Hudson sing from Finding Neverland, even though that show isn't on Broadway yet.
I know.
And then we like put all the design categories off camera, and we did the writing categories off camera because no one cares about best orchestrations. I'm like, I kind of do.
I care.
There have been years where they have shown like montages of design to show you like why costumes matter, why scenic design matters, and they show you the nominees and just strictly the nominees, which and that's the other thing. People are like, well, show as many people as possible. I'm like, well, if we have so much time, like just show the nominees and show why they are nominated, why they're quote unquote the best of the year.
Right.
And like if you look at the 2000 Tonys, which is the revivals of Kiss Me Kate and Music Man, and it's the Lacusa Wild Party and Aida and Contact, they have these montages that show you all the designs before they hand out the awards, and it gets you excited about the shows.
Wow.
You're watching all these elements that don't normally get showcased. They do the same
that
thing
are
with,
amazing.
Yeah, and they do the same thing with Best Score. They show like a montage of the writers for Best Score, and they have a moment where you see Michael John Lacusa is talking about, like, I'm always thinking about the rhythm of a song, and he starts playing a rhythm on drumsticks, and then the piano starts plunking out a note, and then they just show you Eartha Kitt rehearsing her number in the lobby of the now August Wilson, and then cut to her doing it on the stage.
I have full chills right now.
Yeah, full chills.
Full chills right now.
And
that's good storytelling.
Yeah.
That by the end I go, man, I had no idea. I love Broadway.
Yeah, and gets you excited about all these other things that aren't just like high kicks and high belts.
Right.
They did. We talked about this with Peter Duchesne last week about like 93, 94, when they tried to do something similar with plays. It didn't work quite as well, but it still try.
Yeah.
Where they showed 4 different best play nominees, and it was from table read to dress rehearsal to final performance of each different one doing it. And I would like more of that, especially with plays, which don't get people go, why aren't people going to see plays? And like, we don't showcase them on the Tonys fucking ever. And it's difficult, but we should keep fucking trying.
I agree. And again, until we crack it.
Yeah.
Because if we just like let it die, we're letting have such an exciting arm of Broadway just wither when it is so vibrant and valuable. And I love that. I love the idea of showing the process of it, because so many people walk in and it's our job to sell them the finished product. Yeah. So it's cool that's a nice angle. I really love that.
Thank you. Well, and that's sort of something that I always come at when I am critical of shows, because I hate the idea of, if you can't do it yourself, you don't get to say anything. I'm like, okay, well, if you go to a restaurant and your steak is raw, you should complain, even if you can't cook a steak yourself.
I completely agree.
But I think
I trust you to be good at steaks.
Yes, I came here for a good steak, and you gave me rareness.
Yes.
But so
that's how I like my steak. Anyway,
well, I was gonna say raw, but
that's how I like my steak.
You like your steak? I like my steak like I like
it mooing. Anyway, continue. You're on a roll. I think the Tonys. I think the Tonys again have this opportunity to right now, if it is already in the can, try something new.
Yeah.
Go again, Diana-me. Go throw the biggest, craziest idea you have out right now that's never been done before. Because why not? It's already dead. It's already on its deathbed.
Well, and give people fodder for conversation when they go see a show and they don't like it and they can't understand why. You can give them tools to understand why. Here's the process of what it takes to make a show happen. It's a lot of work, and it doesn't always work out, and that kind of sucks. But there's no exact formula. So sometimes a show won't be good, and you can be angry at like the time you wasted, but you can't be angry at the creatives because they tried. There are shows where it is very clear that no one tried. And you only can tell if you see enough shows and you have that vocabulary of what it takes.
Yeah.
And so I love that with the play nominees, where you see the table read to the final dress to the final performance, where you watch the montage of the writers, plunking out the notes and getting down the lyrics and giving it to the actor, and then everyone's trying to figure it out, and then seeing it on the stage and how it all works out.
Yeah.
Another great example is Patti LuPone gets "I Dreamed a Dream," and the lyric used to be like the melody line used to be, "As they turn your dreams to shame," and it just stayed there with da 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 da. Because if you notice, it's the same melody of Eponine and Marius in One Day More. One more day all on my own, but the tigers come at night.
Yeah.
And she goes, "But he never saw me there," and then she just holds it as the music goes ba ba da ba da ba da ba da. Patty's like, "So I used to be a Vita, right?" She's like, I've got range for days."
Yeah.
So she's like,
And you're wasting me.
Yeah, you're
so-
wasting me. So why don't I just go up with the orchestra on that? And that's become an iconic scale.
100%. Right. And again, best idea won.
Yeah.
And thank God.
Thank God. And that is something that I feel like audiences would be having so much fun with, because they're in on it. They're not just observing it.
I love that. It gives them ownership of the experience.
Yeah.
And it makes them be like, oh, I know this cool thing about this. I love this.
If everyone's
Yeah.
in on it, everyone gets to be excited by it.
Yeah.
And let's make it about me for a quick second.
Hey, keep going.
One may say that I wrote a play this year.
Uh-huh. Great. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Some of the best things that actually have come out of the last couple of readings I've done have just been like having friends who I respect, who are smart, and having conversations with them after each reading. It was just so good, because I would say, like, here's what I'm trying to achieve. And they would say, great, here's where that's working. Here's where it was a little confusing. And here, I personally, was hoping to see a little more of this. And just like, off the cuff, like, what if this character said this? And I'm like, oh, I don't want them to say what you just said, but what you said has now made me think
Gave
they could
me
say
an
something.
idea to do, yeah.
Exactly. And two of my favorite things I've added to the play came from conversations with my friend Allie Gordon and my friend Samantha Bissell. And it wasn't that either of them were like, do this, but we were having a conversation and they were like, you could maybe try this or this. I'm like, yeah, I could. Tried it and it led to something else.
You went, oh, it worked. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, if that goes to Broadway, I'm sure Samantha and Allie will be like, compensation, please.
Hey.
But that is to say, it was a collaborative process, and best idea came to the next best idea.
Exactly.
And I'm saying this on the podcast because when we get to the production of the show at some point, which who knows, could be in 6 months, could be in 3 years. I think it's closer to 6 months between you and me, not to toot my own horn. But I hope that my listeners, if they go see it, they'll watch knowing how this process went,
Right.
and they'll get excited watching it and like try
Yeah.
to figure out what was collaborative, where it came from my own personal life, what was my own imagination, and having conversations about it afterwards. That is what keeps theater alive.
100%. Because again, if a show finishes and then you're like, what's for dinner? And then that's the last time you talk or think about that show, that show has failed. To me personally. I want to then go to dinner and be talking about what I just saw for the next 3 hours.
Absolutely.
That's the joy of seeing something truly excellent.
And there are shows that are trying to be important and hammer home a message so hard that there's no discussion to be had. It's just super easy to know what the show was trying to say or what a character was doing. The shows that allow themselves to live in a more moral gray area and then also just try to lead with empathy through characters and storytelling, rather than say, tolerance good, and are more sort of, here's a person who lives a very different life from you. Here is their journey. Did that maybe lead to some empathy today? Let's talk about it over dinner for 3 hours.
100%. Yeah, it's like, show me. I don't want to see people who I agree with all night.
Yeah.
I want to be challenged. Also, it's like I want to see someone who I actively disagree with, and then I'm going to have an opinion about that. And again, it's like I completely agree that if we're not going to have art that's just like I don't know, this revival of 1776, where it assumed its audience was all on the same page from the beginning, and it just was able. If you're not on the Patreon, Matt has slid all the way out of his chair and is on the floor when I mentioned 1776.
Pretty much.
This
revival, anyway.
Oh my gosh, it's just like it. I am. We are all. If we're all on the same page the whole time, I am bored.
Well, also, speaking of condescension, that was a very condescending revival to its material and to its audience. And also, but assumed that it was being brave. Because, and I did say this in my review.
Yes, I recall. I read.
He
I
reads.
read.
But I said something along the lines of in that production, and I'm only saying this because people worked on that production who I've seen do amazing work, and
Correct.
so I'm saying this to hold them accountable to continue to do great work in the future.
Yeah.
The fact that I hated the 1776 does not take away from the fact that I loved Diane Paulus's hair and Pippin,
Of course. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
or that I hated her Finding Neverland.
No,
but
but that's you're allowed to make those mistakes, and I
Yeah.
think that that's fantastic. I love watching someone who's objectively fantastic at what they do have it not come together.
oh, I have to
Finish this, and then we'll come back. 1776.
But so there are many moments in that revival where actors would look out to the audience and say something very like, and now I'm saying the declarative political statement, and aren't I brave? And I'm sitting there going, you are sitting in a subscriber house in New York City. 95% of this audience is Democrat or liberal or progressive.
Mm-hmm.
The other 5%, if they are Republicans, they are fiscal conservative social liberals. You are not changing anybody's mind by shouting, I love purple to a room filled with people wearing mauve. And it's an echo chamber.
Yep. 100%.
And you're not hearing applause. You're hearing the echoes of people patting themselves on the back for agreeing with your political statement. And no one's getting challenged.
Right.
Even if it's something that I agree with, I'm like, no, but challenge my ideals. Like, make me really have to defend why I believe what I believe.
Right.
Because maybe something will come along that will make me go, you know, I always thought this was the case, but now that I'm seeing something from someone else's perspective, I can see why what I think might be hurtful to someone else. Because there's no one has objectivity, really, right? It's all just my experience is my experience, and therefore that is the world.
Yes.
And with theater, especially when it's the stories of queer people, it used to be that queer audiences were so excited to have a queer story told. When Terrence McNally wins the Tony for Love, Valor, Compassion, the gays go insane. When Angels wins both years in a row, they go insane. Now, when a queer story is told, all the modern gays are like, that's not my journey. That's not me on that stage. I don't like it. Problematic, because that's not what I went through. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, it's actively not your story. It's the story we told.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a story we told. Not every gay or every bisexual or transsexual or transgender or fluid, whatever, pansexual, asexual, not every character represents the entire community. They are just a person, and they are fucked up like everyone else.
And it's through that individuality, through fully being themselves, that hopefully it can speak to a universal. When you were then speaking to the masses, that like 1776 was doing, that's when it gets like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
As opposed to like really honing in on an opinion and shooting it for that target. It's like, we're going to hit every target. This gets me back to Jagged Little Pill, which I found to be like it checked every box of every hot topic issue. And I'm watching and the whole thing I'm like, and now it's about this too? We're going to have it be about everything?
And you are undermining all of those issues by giving each of them 6 minutes.
Pick one. Yeah.
Pick one and
make it the
explore it.
best one.
Yeah, and
Get
explore
and
it.
blow it up and put it back together and see it from every angle, but see one from every angle, or maybe two. But if you're like eight different topics, I am like, it is part after school special. It is part rock concert, and I am tired.
And you are becoming the cartoon version of yourself that your enemies believe you are.
Yeah. Damn.
You know? It's just so stupid.
It's
I
hard.
hate
It's
it.
all done with best intentions, right? It's like, and then this is important, and it's like, yes, all those things are super important, but you're doing yourself a disservice by having the aperture be so wide.
Yeah, but this is what we were talking about earlier, where this kind of stuff, we know it doesn't come from a bad place, but how can your work get better if no one's holding you accountable? If it's all just everyone holding hands and saying kumbaya, well, and then
Yeah.
do we all forget the goddamn drama that went into that show, Jagged Little Pill, after COVID, when they reopened after lockdown, and like cast members were coming forward about mistreatment and not feeling heard, and
In a show that was like the most inclusive show.
yeah, and listen, I'm sure then there was a lot of they said, but the idea for me is, if it was an environment where people could openly express critiques that they had or things that needed to be said or done, and felt like they were being heard and everyone was really doing the best work possible, rather than just like being silent the entire time.
Yes.
The vitriol they had after the fact, in with all these stories coming out, would maybe be a little less intense, a
Yeah.
little more sort of like, hey, not a great experience for me, but like we move on, or like I would like to say my piece, and then like we'll talk about it for a minute and then move on.
Right.
But instead, it was just like, no, I need to say this now, and I need to say it intensely,
Yeah.
and it's because of so much repression.
Yeah, it's like scorched earth. It's scorched earth liberalism.
Also, on this note, let's take one more break.
Really, I beg to differ with you. How do you mean? You're the top.
Yeah.
You're an arrow color. You're the top. You're a Coolidge dollar. You're the nimble
And we're back. So we were talking a lot about like the Broadway world and the systems of it all,
.com.
.com, yes. And well, this all comes back to the Tonys, and
Right.
as you know, this leads to a larger conversation.
Right. It's only the beginning. It blows us open to
Yeah.
a very complicated industry.
Yeah, the idea of the Tonys not happening then says, well, what does it say if every show needs the Tonys this bad? And what it should be is that the Tonys should help. It shouldn't be a make or break. You hear these stories about shows that turned their fortunes around because of the Tony Awards.
Right.
Usually it's because they win as well as have a good performance.
Yeah.
And that is, I feel like this thing that people don't really think about
Yeah.
is they go, oh, well, if you win a Tony Award, you could run for a year. I'm like, well, no. If you win a couple of Tony Awards and you do a really good job on the telecast,
Yeah.
that'll help.
Yes.
But again, that's sort of where we talk about, like, how do we build a platform for shows that they can succeed without necessarily Tony love, and also don't need to run 3 years at capacity in order to
be
make
profitable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How can a show run for a year and a half, make its money, and then peace out?
And that is what I really want to get back to, right? Like that's the dream, that like a show could come in, there could be a lot of turnover, right?
Yeah.
I dream of when it's like there's all these new shows and then they're here for a while and gone, and they're
Yeah.
here for a while and gone, and it's not like you don't have to make it 10 years in order to be a success. And unfortunately, I feel like that's where we are in the business model right now. That's so heartbreaking because it means that it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
We don't have an opportunity to just like have a functioning again, I keep saying ecosystem, but it's like it's a coral reef of shows that are here and there, and you're meant to like have a community and catch someone who did a show for a little while and then they're able to hop to the next one. It's like nobody's hopping from show to show to show.
No.
Like the trope of the chorus member who's in this and then in that and then in this and was in 6 shows in the past 6 years, that is dead.
Yeah.
That's not how it happens anymore because we don't have the frequency of production, and then there's just the turnaround, and we're not. What is a success has just completely changed. I really long for the days of a show that can be splashy and fun and short-lived and not a total disaster.
Yeah.
Is that possible anymore?
I think so, because every now and then we do get one or two. Again, we have like a fun home or a band's visit that comes in, runs for a year and a half, makes a profit. Not a huge profit, but a profit.
What a profit.
Recoups.
Does well.
Goes on tour.
Yep.
Wins their Tonys, and then heads out.
And then it's gone.
And
You're
then it's
right.
gone. Yeah. We don't get a lot of them, not as often as we used to, but we do sometimes get them. The other problem is now there is, as you said, like there is this weird feeling by the community, by fans especially, that has warped a perception of what success is. If it's not running for 5,000 performances, oh, what a devastating loss that is.
Yeah, what?
And I'm like, I have said this before, I want to say it again. I don't mean to yuck anybody's yum.
Sure.
But you only have so many hours on this earth, and there is so much content to absorb. And I do understand something you do love at a deep level, wanting to see it as much as you can. I saw Fun Home 6 times on Broadway in the year and a half it was on Broadway.
for you.
Thank you so much. But while seeing it those times, I also made sure to see as many other things as I could. I get a little confused by people who come to the city twice a year or once a year or every 2 years, and they just go see their favorite show that's still running. It was something that really bothered me about Phantom, of that fandom. One could call it an emo system.
I hated that. I really hated that.
I loved it.
I objectively did not like this.
Ecosystem, emo system.
Yep. More of that.
Yeah.
More of that on Broadway.
This is the thing I love. I support it wholeheartedly. I know everything about it.
I've seen it 100 times.
I go
Yeah.
see every new cast member, and I'm like, that's not for me. And again, I'm not trying to be super judgmental. It's just that's for me. That's not the boastful brag that you think it is.
No, I agree.
I'm like, how do you not want to expand your experiences with new shows, with new works, with new actors? Fall in love with a new show, fall in love with a new actor.
Yes.
And you can come back to the show you love if you are allowing yourself to go out into the world and try other things.
I completely agree.
And
let it be the thing that made you fall in love with the art form.
Yeah.
Let it be the door, right? It's like so I'm in the Book of Mormon, and that is a gateway drug for so many people's Broadway love.
Yeah.
And I say all the time why it's running and why it's still so popular is because you can bring boys to Broadway.
Sure.
You can bring your dad or your boyfriend. I meet all these dads and boyfriends at the stage door, and their partners or daughters are like, this is their first Broadway show, and they've got stars in their eyes, and they're like, it was amazing, like, this was fantastic. And then guess what? That partner, that girlfriend, that daughter is going to go, great, you loved Book of Mormon, now let's go see Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
And they'll go, sure, I love Broadway. And it's like, that's a good audience member. I want someone who's going to fall in love with your Phantoms, have your favorite show, but then let it be like, what else is out there?
Yeah.
Like, become the explorer who can then just love Broadway.
and learn about your tastes. When people say I don't like musicals, I'm like, there's a musical for everybody.
Yes.
There absolutely is a musical for everybody. Anyone who says they don't like musicals, I say you will like You're in Town.
That's great.
Yeah. And or like, the South Park movie. Just there's
Yes, you do. You like musicals.
yeah,
Everyone
everyone likes stories.
Yes.
And told in multiple ways.
and everyone likes music.
Yeah, it's part of your fucking body chemistry,
Yes.
idiot. But you learn more about yourself and your taste the more you see and the more you like and don't like. And then you can start curating what you see in the future based off of, I really like this writer. So the next thing they do, I'll go see. Or like, you know what? I know that there's a lot of buzz on it, but I haven't liked the person who worked on this. And like the last thing we saw of theirs, I didn't really like. Let's maybe skip this one.
Sure.
That is an educated, curated decision to make, rather than just sort of like, I don't like musicals, or I don't know, like that. We're going to see the thing that we are aware of. Like, we're going to go see Pretty Woman, the musical, because we all know the movie Pretty Woman. I'm like, well, do you know anything about the people working on the show? Because it's possible you won't like the show.
Yeah.
Or if you just go see something because it's the thing you knew, but with songs added.
You're going to be thinking, man, remember the movie
Yeah.
Pretty Woman? I love that movie the whole time.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Or if you're just watching and be like, oh, I love how it's exactly what I remember about the movie. Then I go, okay. When was the last time we read a book?
Yeah, I agree.
That is where I'm being a little judgmental. But you know what? I think I've earned that.
I think so too. I also think that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can have your opinions because you've done the research. You've
I've
done the
research.
homework.
And I fucking love all different kinds of things. I don't love everything, but I love all kinds of things.
I love that.
For someone whose favorite musical is Carousel, I literally just
Damn.
well,
That's awesome. I love that. Like, I really enjoy that you are an opinionated person, someone with so many hot takes, and I love that your favorite musical is such a controversial one.
well, yeah, because people who don't get it are they're not stupid. They just have not taken 5 seconds to think about it. I literally was just listening to True Crime Obsessed, and they were talking about Barney. There was a whole documentary about Barney, and apparently in the 90s, I don't remember this, the violent anti-Barney people, like a lot of straight white men who got very violent about how much they hated Barney. And it's these guys who don't look inwards on the things in their life that they have no control over, that's making them upset, that's making them angry, and they take it outwards and they cause damage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's literally the messaging of Carousel, is when we don't actually give opportunities of a helping hand to people just because they are a cisgender man, heterosexual man. And we go, well, you can't be drowning because the world is made for you. And then they go, well, I don't have actual problems then, so why am I sad? I guess I'll just take it outward then. And then they end up killing themselves and leaving their pregnant wife to deal with the pieces in the end.
Yeah.
And that is what that show is about. People go, well, he hits her. I'm like, yeah. Yes, he does.
Because you're seeing a complicated person doing complicated things, and you're supposed to have an opinion about that.
Yep, and it's someone who is literally at rock bottom doing awful things because they don't know how to get out of it, and no one is helping them because everyone is saying you're bad because you did a bad thing.
Man, I'm sold on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sounding. Listen, I always like Carousel, but this is hitting me in a really.
That's what the fucking show is about.
That's really great.
When you just treat that show or any Golden Age musical with, well, the score is great, but the book is bad, and you don't cast actors, then it's just, that's what it's going to be. It's why I hated The Last Revival. I'll talk about it all the time. In fact, I said, you know what? Fuck it. If you know me, you know what I was talking about last week when I was telling Peter Duchan that a Tony winner for Best Choreography in the last couple of years was a Tony winner that I hated because they did, and it was Justin Peck for Carousel. They did Blow High, Blow Low on the Tony Awards. And that is a number that is filled with sailors, working class sailors, most of whom have either raped or killed or robbed. And so how do they choreograph that number? Like a bunch of power bottoms doing a hasty pudding show. They choreographed it. They choreographed it, PJ, like 2x2 in Book of Mormon. And that choreography for 2x2 works because of the tone of that show and who those characters are. They haven't seen the world yet. They think everything's a Disney movie.
100%.
Those sailors in Carousel, they do not dance like
right.
that.
I remember that performance. I remember being like, I do not want to see this show.
Everyone in Carousel is working class. They're sweaty and they're tired and they're horny.
Yeah.
So why is everyone dancing like they've gone to the School of American Ballet? Use ballet as a tool, but you have to make it character and story based. That's what PJ. Go on YouTube, watch my video of the 1994 Carousel with Audra and Sally Murphy. You will love it. I swear to God, you'll love it.
I'm in.
More
I'm so
importantly,
sold.
Michael Hayden as Billy Bigelow. He does everything that I told you that character is.
Great.
But this conversation we're having
Love it.
comes from two people writing a show about complicated people and not saying to the audience, here's the message, but rather going, what do you take from this?
Yeah, and it's not going. We're not commenting on the fact that he beats his wife, like or that
Hits her. He hits her.
Excuse
Beating implies that he's done it multiple times. And I only say this because this is a change Oscar Hammerstein made from the play.
I love that.
In the play, Lilium does beat his wife, and Oscar Hammerstein makes it a point to change it to once because if it's
so much better.
if it's repeated, it's a pattern. If it's once, we're catching someone in a very awful moment of their life,
Right.
And rather than anyone other, the only person who's like he is in pain is his wife, and no one's listening to her because they're like, "You doormat, why are you staying?" And she's like, "You're not." She's like, "I'm trying to help him, and no one else is helping me."
Yeah.
And she's also kind of like on this path to, combustion. And she sort of gets her own comeuppance from staying around someone because she's so empathetic. She's trying to be with someone she cares about rather than being self-preservating.
Right.
And so she's left devastated. The show's moral at the end is helping, anyone can be redeemed if they're willing to ask for help. And also the only way you can help heal others is if you don't worry about yourself and just lead with kindness.
Yeah.
For example, the way that the show ends, Billy's dead, and he's told he's literally told, you left your pregnant wife on Earth. She now has a teenage daughter who's super fucked up because all of that town knows what a bum you were, and they won't let her forget it. Go to Earth, fix this. And what he first, it's like, because if you don't, you will go to hell. So his mind's just going, fuck, I can't go to hell. I get a star. I'm going to give it to my daughter. And she doesn't know what to do with it because some random dude you've never met before is like, I knew your dad, here's a star. So she freaks out, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And he's freaking out. He's like, I'm going to get fucking eternally damned. So he hits her because he's like, time is running out. He fails. And then he realizes, he sees Julie come out and he sees the devastation he's caused, that's what the whole, it's possible for someone to hit you and not hurt. That line isn't Oscar Hammerstein going, if someone loves you, them hitting you doesn't hurt. He's showing someone who is now basically numb because of all the forgiveness she has had to give Billy in her life, but she's been left with no answers, no closure, so she's a shell of a person. Billy is seeing this. He's realizing finally, face to face, the damage he's done. Like we were saying, the conversations that you have with people are better than just pontificating. And he then goes, okay, I can't think about me anymore. All I can do is try to give my wife and daughter some piece of something to move on from. I have to close out this circle of toxicity, this carousel of toxicity that I left behind.
Oh my God.
So he gives his daughter from beyond the grave the ability to let go of some of the pain she has inherited from him by listening to the hopeful words of the preacher and accepting the helping hands of the people around her. And so she's able to pick herself up and no longer define herself by the awfulness of his past. And the thing he gives Julie is the knowledge that he did love her. His final lines to her, I loved you, Julie. Know that I loved you. And that is what she needs because he died with her never fully knowing how he felt about her, only what she felt about him. And that has haunted her for 16 years. And him giving her that closure allows her to close that gap and finally move on. And that is what gets him into heaven, by actually helping the people that matter most to him and not thinking about himself for once.
Wow. All right.
And that is
roll credits.
Roll fucking credits.
I'm in, yeah.
But you want to know something, PJ? People That's not actually said in a giant show busy glittery number.
That's not told to you.
And so people don't have the conversation. They go to Instagram and they go, want to hear a problematic line? And I'm like, you're not taking context into account.
100%.
You're
not
looking
seeing the whole picture and
No.
why that was the perfect moment for the story.
You're just in it for the meme. There's a line that Hammerstein has in there where he's just repurposing a line from Lilium, which is when Louise says, oh, he hit me and I didn't feel it. It was almost as if like he had kissed my cheek or kissed my hand.
Right.
And everyone goes, so people always misquote and they go, he hit me and it felt like a kiss. I'm like,
Yeah,
no. It's Molnar and Hammerstein poorly saying, of course it didn't hurt. He's a ghost. He's translucent. That's literally what they're saying.
Wait, that's so funny.
That's all it is.
And if you take that out of context, it is way worse.
Yeah, and it's just bad poetic writing. So I would cut that line, the kiss line, not because I have a problem with it emotionally. I'm just like, that's a fucking dumb analogy.
And we're not getting the point. It's like
Yeah.
it's muddying
Yeah,
the
just
story.
say it didn't hurt.
Right.
And we would know why it doesn't hurt because he's a fucking
It's
ghost.
so funny, and that gets into just the issue of taking
Yeah.
things piecemeal and being and
Yeah.
out of context.
This
and
has
how that's
nothing to do with the Tony Awards or anything.
I know we
But-
went we did a whole big carousel loop, which I love.
But we also, this goes into how the conversations we were talking about that people aren't having. People then define themselves by the politicalness of it.
We're in a soundbite moment. We're in a time like you just
Yeah.
said, where it's like everyone's working really hard to be the person to call someone out, to be
Yeah.
the person to really find the chink in the armor,
Yeah.
and be like, well, you thought this was a good thing, actually it's bad.
He was right, they actually bad.
Right, and which is like, if that's the moment we're in, fine. But I think we all can agree how detrimental that is
Yeah.
on several levels.
Yeah. So the difference between what I was saying about like fans, going to see Phantom a million times. And listen, I have my issues with Phantom. Essentially, that is a show about a horny incel who gaslights and kidnaps the only virgin left in Paris.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly it.
Pretty much it.
And people were like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people were like, that's so goddamn hot. I don't know what it was like in the 80s, but they fucking loved that shit.
Lindsay Ellis has a great take on it, and it's her favorite show, and I appreciate it. Like, I think that show only works if the Phantom is never actually treated like a romantic prospect. He is someone who is terrifying to her, and she ultimately, through her own kindness, dumb kindness, gives him a moment of human connection, which allows the wall to break and he realizes just how awful and manic and evil he has been, and allows her to leave. She chooses right in the end. Raul's a bit of a fuckboy, but he at least doesn't murder or kidnap or gaslight.
We ask so precious little from our men these
Exactly.
days.
Well, he gaslights a little bit, but yeah, we ask so little.
So little.
Raul does not murder. He does not nearly rape.
Right. See, he's a good guy.
Yeah, and he's.
I didn't even do any murdering, babe.
No,
Fine.
I've got all my hair and the skin on my face is still there.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
I'm a perfect man.
What, you tell me that you've been terrorized and you want me to believe you? Please.
Come on.
At least I didn't kill nobody.
so stupid.
But yeah, my point is that I am less about denying people their joy and more saying like, cool, let's find more joy.
Yeah.
There's so much else out there.
100%.
And it makes you appreciate the things you love all the more.
But you have to be shown. I think Broadway can be inaccessible. I think it takes. I think, and this is why I love what you do, and I love people who are in our position who are going to talk about the art and get you excited about it, because it's like, I love going to the museum and having a tour guide, because I think I walk into the Met and I'm overwhelmed. There's every great piece of art in the world, and I burn out. I get like museum fatigue. I'm lost in Mesopotamia, and I'm hungry. I gotta go. Whereas every time I go to a museum, I go to someone who knows this place and loves it, and then says, "Come with me. Let me show you the best parts." And then I have ownership of. I'm able to go, I don't know what I like. I don't know what this is about. Teach me what's cool about this thing, and you will leave a fan forever. Like and every time I take a museum tour or have someone show me around MoMA, I'm like, oh my God, I love modern art. And I think that's what the Broadway fans are kind of missing, is someone or people who can go, oh, this show, come with me. Let me tell you why this is such a great musical. Let me tell you like how it was made.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Like Patti LuPone, she had an idea. And like you telling me more about that, I'll never listen to I Dream to Dream the same way, because it takes your love of it to inspire love of it to me. And I think that the big lights and the posters and everything, it can be cold, even though it's trying to be so warm, even though it's trying to grab your attention. You kind of need someone who's going to go, oh my gosh, don't look up Kimberly Kimbo. Don't look up anything about it. Just come with me to the theater and let's sit down and watch it. And trust me, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And that's going to create a lifelong fan. Because otherwise you might just keep seeing Phantom over and over and over again because you know you like it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's tough.
You know what they say? Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll create a fan account for fishing on Instagram.
That's great.
Thank you. No, Hugh Panero told the story when they were doing Sideshow, and they were always constant danger of closing.
Mm-hmm.
They lasted 3 months basically out of the producers being like, we're trying here, but no one's coming. And it got to the point where like everyone in the cast, including, Alice, Emily, Hugh, Norm, like would go to Times Square at TKTS and like hand out flyers and be like, come see our show. It's really good. The Times liked us. And he was having this conversation with a woman who was online. She's like, oh, we're here to see Cats. He goes, oh yeah, like if it's your first time in New York, you're like, you gotta see Cats. It's an institution. She goes, oh no, we come every year. We always go see Cats. He's like, oh, well, maybe this time you want to see our show, see something a little different. If you've seen Cats 10 times. And she goes, I like cats.
Are there cats in your show?
Are there cats in your show?
No.
No, ma'am.
Then I don't want
to
see your show.
I don't want to see a show. You mentioned conjoined twins. Are there leg warmers involved? You mentioned Bleachers, a song called Freaks. Is it done on a levitating tire? If it's not done on a levitating tire, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in your show.
Fucking funny.
No. Anyone you try to go see who loves Phantom, you try to go see something else, they go, does anything fall from the sky? No? Then no, ma'am.
This holier than thou thing, but because they've taken an ownership of the show.
Yeah.
They have gone, I've learned that's quality.
Yeah.
And
or they make it their identity.
Sure.
That I can't get on board with.
Me neither. Yeah, it's no, please, you're about to pivot.
No, I was saying on that note, what do you think is going to happen with the Tony
This is perfect.
Awards?
Exactly. On that note, what do you think is going to happen? I think here's the thing. Let's get back to the Tony Awards. Here we go. Thesis statement about the Tony Awards. I don't care about the intro song. I don't care about the bits in between.
Nope.
I care about getting production numbers in front of eyeballs in Middle America.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't even care about the speeches. It's really nice. I want everyone to be able to have their moment in the sun that they've dreamed of, to get that award and to thank their mom and to look into the camera and cry.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But I care more about a night that showcases the variety of what we have to offer in New York City, and you should book a trip and come.
Yeah.
Like I would prefer if we said, we don't need any writers to make this show. We have well-written numbers across Broadway from shows that are brand new this year and have been running for years. If we are running short and we need more material, guess what? We can ask the Lion King to come in and give us something. Come across the stage and give me a bit of a song, something that's running. We can blow up what the Tonys have been and have it be a showcase of not just everything that's new, but everything that's still here.
It's supposed to be a celebration. It hasn't really been one in a very long time. It's now just a commercial, and it's trying to just compete. It's very how do you do, fellow kids? And I'm like, we blow it up, make like make it like the last 5 minutes of Slave Play, a play I didn't like very much, but had a great last 5 minutes. Burn the institution of it down to the ground and have it rise anew. And from there, you will have a healthier foundation that will last a lot longer.
Couldn't agree more. Have fun. Have it be something that's like, I can't believe they're doing this right now. Because you already are fucked. Like this already is going to be a devastatingly different year. So lean in. Go all the way.
Now's the time to be Diana. Strong and wrong.
Strong and wrong. Yeah, like make it, or at least just be entertaining, right? That we have the most fabulous like performers and material in the world all in one place. Let's have the best idea win and make the coolest, best show while still respecting our writers, while still holding on to an industry that is constantly dying. Yeah. Like we can do this because we are problem solvers, because we are inventive, and we've been reinventing the wheel and making magic for over 100 years in this town. We can do it in this moment to propel us to the next level.
Theater has been around for thousands of years, and it has still survived all other new mediums of entertainment, and it is still here, which is why I have no fear that it will stick around.
100%.
We have to do our part and help feed it, help nurse it.
Sure.
And it's also not just the Tonys, like if you listen to any podcast, like the Grammys or the Oscars, fans of those mediums often say like, stop trying to make TikTok and just like be for the nerds, because
Be for the nerds.
because the passion of the nerds will spread out to more nerds, and like people always just love to be on the inside of something, to learn more about something and go like, oh, I'm now in the know about this.
Yeah.
It's always a fun thing.
Yeah.
That's all it
Make
is.
it fun to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
And the shows, the Tony ceremonies that do the best are when shows that are doing well, all over the world are the ones that are up for awards that year. When it's a Hamilton or a Dear Evan Hansen, or like the year of Phantom was like a very big year for Tonys, because that was a show that people were interested in.
Yeah.
Tell me about this show.
Yeah.
And I think it's again, it comes from all different areas. We need to create things that excite people, stimulate them, and also excite them. Entertain, but also make them question. Right?
Yeah.
Don't give them definite answers. No. Give them stuff to explore. Make them look back on themselves and go, what have I learned about myself from this experience? Have I learned anything? Have I just been purely entertained? Have I finally got the reprieve that I needed today? What does that say about me? And let that passion translate to the Tonys. Oh, that show I loved this year, I want to see what they win tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. And see the people who make it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I loved your idea about like the rehearsal process, and like I want to see how much fun it is to be in Shucked.
Yeah.
I want to know what it's like to be in that cast. I want to know what it's like in that building. I want to know what it's like not just on the stage and in the show, but what it's like to do this show 8 times a week. I think that is the future of hooking an audience on Broadway, is making people fall in love not only with the story on stage, but the stories of the people who live this life, because it's all so interesting.
Yeah.
And that can be everyone wants the novelty, and if the Tonys could be like, hey, this is the showbiz, but come behind the curtain, right? It's like, I love in the award shows and the Oscars or whatever, when you see the people who are like waiting to go on, I'm like, that's the party.
Yeah.
I want to be back there, like stop giving me like I know you can do polished, but like let me in on this world that is so interesting, that is so vibrant, that is so diverse, and then by giving me a peek of that, I, in Middle America, go, man, what's it like in New York City? Because we're selling New York, right? We're not just selling Broadway. We're selling this metropolitan city that we're in. And you're going to come and see Times Square, but while you're here, you're also going to like see the Statue of Liberty. And it's going to be a part of this vibrant city. And I think that every time Broadway has partnered with the city of New York and said, like the whole I Love New York campaign, it has worked like gangbusters. And I think now more than ever, we need not just what it's like on stage, but what it's like to do this for a living.
Yeah, the whole world of it.
Yeah,
and
it's cool.
And again, I want to say, the designers, the directors, the choreographers, get people who are watching to understand what it is we're celebrating, what it is voters are voting for. Why does this show get best choreography over this show? To me, it looked like that this had more dancing. It's like, yes, but how was the dance being used in this other show? Like I've mentioned it a couple of times, but like when once won best set design of a musical. It was a very shocking win for a lot of people. And like, I would have loved nothing more than if we had a montage that year where we showed all the different set designs and showed how Bob Crowley's set for once, even though it's just a unit set of a bar, how the flexibility of how it was used told
the story.
Told the story and
That's
how
great.
and what made it win.
Yeah.
But people, they only see like the 3-minute clip of the performance, and then they'll see again, Jennifer Hudson singing from Finding Neverland. So they don't know that.
I can't believe that happened.
And information is power, right?
Yeah.
And even if you cast it out there, and of the like 4 million viewers, only 100,000 care, that's still 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And those 100,000 people can spread it to another 100,000 people.
And those 100,000 people can be repeat viewers
Absolutely.
who see Phantom 100 times. It's like, you don't know. You don't know who you're hooking, and then who they'll bring along. I love that. I love that. This is an interesting thing that I've been actually finding, that since I've come into the show, I started Book of Mormon in August, and now it's May, so it's been like a fun little year. But I've had so many people be like, oh, I have not seen it in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to be able to have these friends and people who I respect who caught the original company when it was on fire to then come back and like see a show. It's a rare thing that long-running shows get to enjoy, which is like the repeat viewer that isn't obsessed with it.
Yeah. And I had such a grand time, but I would like to see it again. It's been 12 years.
Yeah, exactly. Come on by.
Yeah, I'm old Rose and Titanic.
Or there's people who are like, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And that's because it was a hard ticket to get 12 years ago.
And then
that's cool
because,
too.
And because you guys aren't going anywhere anytime soon,
Knock wood.
there is a well, yeah, sure. But listen, as we've learned, everything has an expiration date. It's just a matter of when. But
Right,
you're doing strong right now.
Yeah.
So there is like the sort of taking for granted of like, well, it's not going anywhere. Like, what's my rush? I'm like, well, I don't know. No day but today, as Mimi Marquez once said.
Yeah. I
Got a light.
I completely agree. I definitely think it's important to catch the new shows, the flashy things that need them, but also to come and see and remind yourself, oh, this is out here for a reason.
Just expose yourself to as much as you can.
Yeah.
That is just always what I'm down for. Like, even if you're not sure if you're gonna like it, sometimes you get surprised. I said it 2 weeks ago. I was blown away by how much I enjoyed this current production of A Doll's House. I did not think I would.
Really, I love that.
Well,
I've heard great things.
Well, yeah, I'd heard great things too, but I also heard maybe not great things, but it gave me very Ivo Van Hoffe vibes. And as I said before, I want nothing more than to put that man on a raft and send him out to sea. But this is where social media is a lie. Because according to social media, that play is nothing more than Jessica Chastain sitting in a chair, spinning round and round, baby, right round.
With a single tear cascading down her face. Yes.
It is so much more than that.
Right.
That turntable doesn't always turn, by the way, and she's not always.
It stops?
It stops at times.
I gotta go.
Yeah, it moves all the time. I think it's even a 2-part turntable, and she even gets up from her chair at one point. A couple of times before she does the famous walk out. I found
spoiler to Ibsen's A Doll's House.
I know, right? You want to know how Hamlet ends?
Oh fuck! Don't tell me.
Everybody dies. That was me being.
See, I think Hamlet's problematic because he kills his.
You know what? I think Hamlet's problematic because it's not kosher.
Yeah, let's cancel Hamlet.
It's anti-Semitic because it's not kosher. Cancel Hamlet.
How
all
dare
right?
we?
Something run in the state of Denmark that is rude to the Danes.
I love this too. It's like people who are like, well, this is a problematic show. It's like every good piece of theater that has lasted throughout the ages has been so problematic. You're watching problematic people deal with problematic situations, and we are entertained by that. Please. I also sit
there and I go, okay, tell me how. Really go through and tell me not that, as you said, I am watching a complicated character do a complicated thing, but rather I am watching something that is politically telling me something that has aged poorly and thus should be erased. Because if you can do that, props to your mama.
Good job.
If all you're saying is that I'm watching something that makes me uncomfortable, I go, great. Let's hone in on that. Why does that make you uncomfortable? Does that remind you actually of a time in your life when you were shit to someone else? Because I guarantee you, none of us have a clean track record. Some of us have maybe more messy track records recently than others, but the point is, no one is perfect. No one has had a perfect track record.
No, and if your track record is perfect, you're probably boring and shouldn't be making art.
Your wallpaper.
And I don't care what you have to say because you have nothing important to
Make
say.
like Violet Beauregard and get licked. That is what I say. Because they licked that wallpaper in that movie.
They do. It's true. And it tastes like schnozberries.
Yeah, that's trying to do schnozberries. I'm trying to think anything else. We talked about the Tonys.
It was a far-reaching conversation. I really
First of all,
dig it.
that's how this podcast works. This is how you know PJ's only looked at my Instagram and not listened
That's
to
not
the
true.
podcast.
I have absolutely listened to your podcast. I listened to your Phantom episode because Phantom was closing, and I went, "Wow, I should be doing more research about Phantom of the Opera."
No way.
And so I went, "Who do I trust? I trust Matt."
Hallelujah. That was a very
boom.
Yes, thank you very much. I read for filth. That actually is a very exposing episode. I talk about a lot of my teenage demons in that show. Not in that show, in my life that relate to that show. But that was actually a moment where I had not, speaking of Mormon, a long-running show, Phantom of the Opera, had not thought about it for a long time, did not delve deep into it. And I was like, for this episode, I must. So I did. And I was like, oh, shit. Didn't remember that this is exactly what this story is and how the mirrors have mirrored. And maybe that's why I'm so hard on it, but I don't care. That is my own.
It's good for you. It's your opinion. It's
also my journey in life. But that's also the thing about theater that's so exciting is
let it be your opinion.
Who you are on the day that you see that show will actually influence how you feel about that show.
Yeah, and it should.
Yeah. And that's what makes it such a beautiful, thrilling, and sensitive thing. No bootleg will capture the energy of a show. No professional recording will fully capture the energy of that show, or you being in the theater watching it for the first time or for the third time. It's every how you feel about a show is dependent on your journey when you come to it, and then when you come to it again.
Right. I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Which feels more on topic.
Yes.
We keep sitting here on our high horses saying, well, the shows shouldn't need the Tony Awards. They should be doing things that get them publicity that isn't just the Tonys, what should shows be doing?
Well, first of all, I'm not sitting. Maybe I did say this. I don't know. We've been talking for a very long time. I don't think we were saying, you know, in a judgmental way.
No.
Shows should be doing that. Don't rely on the Tonys. I think we were just things we were talking about was just, you know, how it's an outdated model and we're all aware of it.
Right.
And it's just now the conversation is, as you said, what do we do?
Yeah.
First
Evolve
of all,
or die.
First of all, just fucking ticket outreach.
Ticket outreach.
Affordable tickets to students, to low-income households, is just getting word out there in general.
Word out, butts and seats.
Yes. Word of mouth is huge in that respect. So just get butts and seats, get people talking about it. You just need to get social media, any kind of TV outreach you can do.
Okay.
No matter what. Get people to fall in love with your actor so they then start watching the show.
Couldn't agree more.
Get as many clips of your show out there. You know, I would love it if plays would do this more of just like 45 seconds out of one scene, of a very compelling scene.
Yeah.
And like, what's happening here and how does this end? And then,
or like they do that in the Oscars, where it's like, you know, you're going to get a clip of a performance, and you're going to go, oh fuck, that was nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah,
she looked like she was really acting. I got to go see that show.
If you are producing a Broadway show, you need to. I think something that Shucks did very intelligently was they put into the capitalization of that show money so they could lose money for the first couple of weeks of previews and early performances of just like, we are getting butts and seats, so we're doing very cheap tickets below our running costs. It's built into our capital,
right? And
then also building into your capital, just money on marketing in general. Just get it out there, get the title out there.
I love the Shuck campaign. It's great.
It's great. And it's similar to Something Ron, where it didn't really tell you much about the show, but it was a bold campaign and it was everywhere.
Although I still think there should be more. Corn's really easy to buy. I don't know why I'm not tripping over corn cobs on my way to the theater every day.
This is true.
It's like I just litter it about. I say
pop and
continue. So what else? So I agree with you. I think you need to make them. I think that shows should be making you fall in love with both on stage and off stage. I think that off stage is something that should be being captured, and the rehearsal process should be being filmed. We should be having this should be something that it's like, it's coming. Look at us. We're putting it together. It's almost here.
I think that there should be a blend of giving you a lot and giving you nothing at the same time. Show clips of the rehearsal process all throughout, major moments, and then start retreating after that, of like
fun,
showing you only little pieces. Once it's in the theater, once it's on the stage. I mean, think about the Phantom loadout. We all have been seeing that loadout on Instagram and the process of it.
It's amazing.
And like watching that set get deconstructed and watching that theater get loaded out. We are all mesmerized by it.
It's amazing.
Reverse that for your show.
I completely agree. That's an absolutely fantastic business model.
Thank you very much. But also, we're not marketing people. So I want to put it into the hands of people who I have friends who have been on this pod who are in marketing. Who they've got ideas. Let them have ideas.
I agree.
Hear them out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, how do you feel then about like the live capture? How then do you feel about...
I'm super down for it.
Me too. I think again, because like I think everyone's really scared when it comes to live captures, where it's like, well, if they can see it in a movie theater, then they're not going to come in person.
Not if the product's good.
100%. And I think that like Hamilton, really dispelled that rumor, where it's like, my mom can't wait to come see Hamilton because she's watched it so many times in person.
But this is
not
also
in person, on Disney.
But also, not even that. Thinking about how it affects the original run of your show is just thinking too small. Think about what it does for the legacy of your show overall. You're wearing a fucking Diana t-shirt right now.
Yeah, I am.
People are still making videos of Diana. Think of the original video of Into the Woods and what that video has done for the livelihood of that show.
That is the real ace in the hole when it comes to this argument, which is like, it's beloved because kids could grow up on it, and kids can't. You can pop in a tape for an 8-year-old who wants to watch it over and over and over again, and you can't take that same 8-year-old to Broadway night after night after night if you live in Minnesota.
Nope.
Like, I completely agree. I think we are way behind the times when it comes to getting cameras in theaters, and I think that we are filming everything at all times in every other industry. Why has Broadway left so much money on the table by not doing this?
Because it's expensive up front and no one's thinking in the longer terms. That is, and not everything needs to be captured, but it's just something.
Capture some of it. You're just missing so much money. Like, so much can be done.
I am devastated that we do not have a live professional capture of Fun Home on Broadway. That show would be winning prizes it can.
Yeah.
If that were filmed professionally, the way that Spike Lee filmed Passing Strange. But like, and that's a show that did not do well on Broadway.
No.
It did not save the Broadway production, especially because he filmed the last 3 performances. But it's on YouTube. It's
Yeah.
on streaming
Yeah.
services. People know of that show. I am convinced.
And have the opportunity to then fall in love with it again in
Yeah.
a way that they never would otherwise.
And gives it regional productions that I don't think it ever would have if that film did not exist.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it's the same thing with cast recordings, right? Like cast recordings.
Every show needs a cast recording.
Yeah, in order to survive, because
Yeah.
it's just even if your show flops in its original run, it will live on with that cast recording
Yes.
and get people excited about it.
Yes.
No one is doing Mac and Mabel or all over the world because they had heard once that it flopped. They listen to the cast recording and they go, "I love this score. I want to do it."
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly it.
That's exactly it.
I don't know why we don't have more TV shows that like are capturing how a Broadway show gets made, beginning, middle, and end.
Because they tried it with Smash and it sucked.
No, I don't mean Smash. I mean a documentary crew
documentary.
that literally does this. Okay, here we go. It's day one of rehearsal, all the way through to
Yeah.
opening night, and that's a big flex because what if it's a total flop? But guess what? That's TV.
Yeah.
You're gonna have people who fall in love with Broadway because they've seen how amazing it is, and by the end of the season, they're crossing their fingers to
Yeah.
see if it's a hope. Like that right there, if some production was brave enough to do that, would be revolutionary.
Absolutely.
Would be incredible television. And I would then be like, that's a reality TV show that I will watch because now you're giving me the pulp that I want because Broadway is dramatic. But it's still educational. It's still exactly something that I want. And I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. I want someone to do it.
I feel like people are afraid of giving the milk away for free, or whatever that phrase is.
More is more.
Buy an account, you can get the milk free, that kind of thing.
I think that's
and
stupid.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Again, it comes back to what we were saying with the Tonys of like, let people in, let them feel like
People
insiders.
fall in love with you.
Yeah,
Let people fall in love with you.
Let them get in. If they get invested in you,
Yeah.
they will follow you,
Yes.
and they will tell other people to follow.
Yes.
And that's all you need. Just get people to talk about you, get excited about you, invested in you.
And again, let people see your passion. Let
Yeah.
people see your genius. Let people see, like, again, it's like, what's happening in that room? It's like, oh, they'll steal it. They'll never steal it because they're not you.
Yeah.
Like, let them copy and try. Let
Yeah.
them, and again, it's like, I think it's this gatekeeper mentality of like, oh, you can't see how the sausage is made. It's like, no, let's show you this process.
Yeah.
And that will inspire a generation of other writers who go, oh, that's how they did it. My God, it's like, I think that's why we love it's why we love the documentary of the company cast album being made.
Yeah.
It's like we're like, we can't get our eyes off of this thing. It's inspiring to generations of artists who then are like, oh man, it is a little messy. Man, I can kind of forgive myself a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think that the secret needs to be letting us behind the scenes.
Absolutely. In every sense.
Yeah.
Inside, outside, behind, under, in front. Get all over me. That is what I want.
Rain on me.
Rain on me. All right. So I think this is a good moment to start wrapping things up.
I think so too.
Before we do the official wrap-ups, we have 2 reviews that we need to read.
Oh, please. Oh, this is fun.
We always read them. So I will be adding this in post. But I always ask my listeners for more reviews, ratings. 5 stars helps with the algorithm. And I got 2 new reviews since last week's episode, and I would like to give them their due.
All right.
Cue the Light in the Piazza overture music. 5 stars, a delight. Written by Beth, and then in parentheses, not March. Thank you for that. This is the only podcast for which I get genuinely excited when a 2 or more hour-long episode shows up in my feed. I always find myself laughing out loud and talking back when listening. Matt is a delightful host. He doesn't hold back on sharing his opinions, but he's never mean-spirited. Thank you. Listening to Broadway Breakdown has helped me fill in some holes in my musical theater knowledge and helped me figure out why I like what I like. Yeah. I'm so happy I found it. Beth, we literally were just talking about all of this.
This is exactly it.
Yeah, this is it. Review number 2. The best podcast around. 1 star. No, 5. 5 stars. As someone who lives in Philly, I often travel into the city to catch a Saturday matinee. A trip to Broadway does not feel complete without an episode of Broadway Breakdown to accompany me on the train home. Matt's wit and insight into the theater world is the best travel companion this boy could ask for. Thank you.
That's
that is
beautiful.
I've got some fucking great listeners.
That's really great.
Every now and then they'll write something specifically to make me giggle. They'll put in like a Sally Murphy reference or a Kimberly Akimbo reference or a Smile reference because I love Smile.
That's great.
Yeah.
I really love that. I'm so glad that your work is so fulfilling.
I mean, in this moment it's fulfilling. I'm going to go home tonight and I'm going to cry myself to sleep
I
because
know,
with the
know.
highs comes the
100%, but it's
depressive lows.
It's important to talk about that too, and I think that this is another thing that people are desperate for is be like, they want in a business that pays you to be on all the time, for people to be real about what that life is like.
Yeah.
And it is hard, and I don't think we should be afraid of allowing people to see the struggle and the weakness and the like, how the fuck am I going to do this when it comes to presenting a product that we want to be perfect?
Absolutely. And to constantly go on about like not only wanting the positivity, only showing the good. Let's not trash other shows. Let's not wish for shows to close. I'm like, first of all, the people who are trashing or wishing ill on other shows are people who are not in this to know how hard it is. But you can still be in this, know how hard it is, and still say, this experience I had on Broadway was not good. I had a great experience, but the show we were in was not very good.
Yeah.
I have come to know a few people working on Bad Cinderella, and they are having a ball, but they know the show's not good.
There you go.
And that's totally okay.
Isn't that beautiful?
I think that's a wonderful thing to do.
I think so too.
Would you rather be in a show you know is not good, but it's a wonderful experience, than to be in a show that is so artistically fulfilling, but the experience has
But at what cost?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It has been rough.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a question.
Yeah, I think that if you were lucky enough to have a long career in this industry, you will find out both of those.
Yep.
You will be like, man, whoa.
Because I have another friend, won't say who, won't say what show, but they were in a show in, let's say, like the last 5 years. Just make it a wide net, because I really don't want people to find out. Was in a show that was very well received, did well in every artistic sense. And like they had highs with it, but there were a lot of backstage lows, just like interpersonal, emotional in their own life with coworkers in the collaborative process, just like was very, very rough and draining and not always great for them as a person. But the artistic outcome was good and perceived by everyone as good.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And neither thing cancels out the other.
No.
They are allowed to have been devastated by events that happened to them working on that show, while also saying, I was lucky to be employed, to be doing something that I thought was good, that was artistically fulfilling. That this is all importante.
That's the business.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And even then, it's like you can go for miles talking about what it's like to be in a new show, like everyone who's in Bad Cinderella, and like their life. Every day it's like, okay, we know we're gonna wind down, and so like the backstage is full of these highs and this bittersweetness, and it's way different than the temperature of what it's like to be in the Book of Mormon, a show that's been running for 12 years, and people are comfortable.
Yeah.
What happens when performers are comfortable versus what happens when performers are crossing their fingers and toes and hoping to make it to the Tonys? That's a really different, two very different experiences, a block away from each other and doing the exact same job.
Yep.
And I think that's a cool thing too that people would like to know about.
When there's something to prove, there's a lot you can gain.
Go on, say more.
Which in any artistic endeavor. We were talking about this earlier about writers who are very smart, but then use their platform to show how smart they are because they think they're better than everyone else. When you are reaching for something...
Scrappy.
Yeah. When you're reaching for something, you have the ability to achieve something. When you are lowering yourself to something, even if it turns out okay, that's not an achievement. You have been gracing us with your presence.
Blech.
And yes, exactly. That is as tasty as a dust-covered candy cane that is 12 years old. That is all I mean. But it's the same thing with performers too. Like, if there's something to prove for you on that stage, the outcome is great.
Yep, there you go.
I've said this before as well. I know for a fact that at the revival of Color Purple, that was a cast packed to the ceiling with incredible talent. And there was a little bit of resentment backstage that not everyone was getting their flowers. And rather than have that destroy any, kind of camaraderie, because first of all, they're professionals and good people. They're not going to do that. But they're like, okay, tonight I go out there and Spielberg's going to discover me. And so, again, rather than be resentful, they go out there and they channel into their performance and they go, I'm going out there with everything I have, and someone's going to notice, and I am going to get 10 new fans today.
Let's go.
And as a gay boy who saw that show 3 times and got pregnant every time, I benefited from that cast going out there and be like, it is me.
And like just here to fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that ownership of their talent and that like, again, like going out there to achieve something, not going out there to collect your paycheck.
Yeah.
Those
To grace the audience.
and
with
you can tell, you can feel it when you're watching the show. Who is in what mindset?
Oh yeah, I have seen it quite often. What it's depressing is when it happens early in a run. Yeah. When someone gets too comfy too soon. Especially when it's been.
But God bless him. Isn't that the dream to get comfortable? I don't know. That's the other side. For me, I'm like, good for you. You've worked so hard. Get cozy, but you better keep giving me the sauce.
Get comfortable in your life, not in your art.
Say that again.
Get comfortable in your life, not in your art.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. That's really good.
Trademark merch, baby.
Do it.
That's the fucking merch.
I say make it merch. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Put that on a sticker. I'll buy it.
Yeah. Take your work. Take the work seriously, not yourself. Get comfortable in your life, not your art.
You heard it here.
Bam, bam.
Boom, boom, boom.
Call me Alexis Mateo, because bam, bitch.
That's it.
All right, PJ.
Yep.
This has been delightful.
This is really nice, Matt. Thank you.
A new friendship has been born.
Yeah, I think so.
Tell Justin Mendoza that he's been replaced by you in my life.
Oh, fair. I can't play the piano.
Can he? No. Both he and his husband can very well.
Yeah, very well.
It's very stupid.
It's annoying.
But where can people find you if you want them to find you?
Please find me. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere else at PJ Adz, which is short for PJ Adzima. And you can find me at the Eugene O'Neill Theater in the Book of Mormon playing Elder McKinley 8 shows a week.
He turns it on to turn it off.
That's right.
If you know what I mean.
That's right. And we keep that bar high, baby.
Yes, we do, baby. If you want to follow me, I am on Instagram only at Matt Koplik, usual spelling. Facebook is for family only. Again, if you like the podcast, give us a nice 5-star rating or a little review. The ones you guys have been sending lately have been baller. Please keep sending them in. I love everyone's creativity and their earnestness with these reviews. It's been just a dream, and they've been keeping me from crying lately, so thank you for that.
Always important.
Yes, there is a Patreon. I will actually link it to this episode. I keep forgetting to do that because I actually haven't updated the Patreon in a few months, but I'm going to start doing that now. So yeah, that's it. PJ, we close out every episode with a Broadway diva. Honestly, put in post. We are now at the stage where we're just getting to repeats. So okay. I want to ask you, what Broadway diva would you like to have us close out today?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Bernadette Peters really came to my mind, but I'm sure people say her a lot.
They do, and I usually turn them down. But because you're an ally and you've been doing the work, I'm willing to give you Bernadette.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, we'll close out with Bernadette. Great. So catch us next week, guys, when we have a old friend of the pod come on, and we're going to talk about our favorite past Tony Award performances.
I can't wait for that one.
It's going to be a good one. And that'll be it for now. Yeah. So thank you so much. Have a great week, you guys, and take us away, Bernie. Bye.
Should have said Carol Channing.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Well,